everybody.
What's good?
Welcome everybody to episode 13 of Sundays, and we finally have made it here to our hip hop discussion panel, the first of what is going to be many likely. We have a set group of topics that we would like to discuss that we are likely not going to get in all the way through in one stream. Before we get started, I want to welcome everybody here and welcome all the new subscribers as the algorithm is favoring the vinyl as the resurgence of vinyl that we will get into because it's also a part of this conversation. But before we get into the weeds of the conversation, I would like to introduce not only our esteemed host, but our guests as well, starting with I am the one son. We got T Sketch Beats, Reconsider It Music Sketchpad, also known as Recon. We got Creaxing in the house, and we have Apollo Hanzo joining in the conversation. So welcome everybody. And if we could just go around, I guess just starting with Sun and going up the list or whatever, and we'll just go down. Everybody can make their introductions, and while you're at it, throw around your you don't have to flash your hip hop credentials or anything like that, but just kind of let people know like your relationship to hip hop and all that other stuff. So I'll go last, son. You go first. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Great to see everybody out there in the zeitgeist in YouTube land. I am the one son. And as you know, this is Sundays, with the sun, with my man, of course, Viral Beats, as we always do. And we're so happy to be able to have everyone else, some of our good people, buddies, friends, family, join us today so we can have this epic discussion about hip hop, one of many to come. And I've been in the business, you could say, for a long time. Like I grew up in hip hop, we're talking like late 1970s going into today, but I am not actively really in the business. I am a huge fan, enthusiast still, musician, beat maker, all those kind of things, scratch DJ, all that. However, I am mostly an observer of this great world that we have, and I write books. That's what I do. I write books, I speak, and I like to educate people. So, plus I'm, shallow as a mud puddle too. So, but that's all there is about me. You guys already know it.
Glad you got to throw that one in there. All right, T Sketch. I could hear you.
We can hear you.
They could hear you. Yeah.
Me and T Sketch. Yeah, she's dope too. I'm just gonna say that, super dope.
And for those who don't know out there, T Sketch, she did the production on the last track that we put out there. So we'll get into that later, not in any kind of advertisement or anything like that. But we really appreciate having you here, Most Def. And I love hanging out with you on Saturdays. It's just become the soundtrack to our Saturdays.
Indeed. Word, bravo.
All the way up until like it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning over here, so it's like 3 or 4 over there. When the time comes, it's like, damn, 7.5 hours.
So Viral, I'm trying to figure something out. How did you manage to get two people from Queens up in the same spot like this, dog? Like,
it's just it's this hip hop
crazy.
It's this hip hop connection, and we'll get into that in a second. Let's go around.
And I mean, like literally from like basically the same neighborhood too. That is just, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Life is strange. Yeah, it's dope though, because like this is the kind of thing, and the things that lead us to this conversation, and And this is becoming such a big conversation, not only in the zeitgeist. That's not why we're doing this, because we were going to have this conversation before all this zeitgeist stuff came about, you know?
Yep.
And it's just crazy that as we develop in our hip hop proclivities, all of a sudden there's this, renewed attention and this, resurgence seemingly of, interest in hip hop. And it just happens to be the exact genre that we are functioning in for
Yeah.
the most part. So it's great to have varying degrees of, different people and diversity over here. And we could not have this stream without a female who's been in the game and just killing it and doing great, just all the way through here in the game. So yeah.
That was
How
Rob's
about
way
you,
of saying you a
Recon?
badass T sketch. You badass. You was a
Okay.
badass girl. Same.
No, for real.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Legendary.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Hey,
How about
hey,
you,
let's get to the
Recon?
rest of the intros though.
How about
Everybody
you,
else, we
Recon?
gotta
Reconsider It Music Sketchpad. And
Yeah,
everybody
brother.
here, we have in the description, we have the links, everybody's tagged. So first and foremost, everybody watching this, make sure you subscribe to everybody's channels here, because everybody's functioning in some way or another here in these YouTube streets. And if you go on their channels, they have some awesome content
Except
related
me.
to the
Except
subject.
me. So let's be clear. So
You'll beat
I
that.
have zero content, guys. I have been really concentrating on my book, books plural, and these guys are all helping me now build my content. So thank you guys, love you guys, and
We still see
with
that.
no further ado,
background.
brother Recon.
Yeah, so my name is Reconsiderate, or Recon, as usually people call me, because it's way shorter. I am indeed an artist, as Viral alluded to. I'm a musician, rapper. I do live looping, beatbox, improvise on my live streams. I would like to be a rapping old guy. I don't know what the
I like it.
corresponding version of a
Like it.
rapping old lady would be. Also, who was from Queens? Who said they were from Queens?
Me, the two of us
Sketch
are
and-
originally
no
from
kidding.
Queens.
Okay.
No,
I'm not.
but-
I'm not from Queens, but I had spent a fair amount of time in Queens. I'm originally from Long Island,
Oh, you from
And-
Strong Island?
so
All right,
that's
that's what's up.
I didn't
That's
know
fun.
that.
Okay. So Recon, that's what the connection
see
I
how
was
this
feeling with
shit
you,
goes?
man. I'm like, what the?
Got some
I'm
foundation.
like, why is this dude like
birthplace,
you was
geographical
like giving me a vibe, man. And I
Nassau,
was like,
Suffolk.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
you know what
Nassau,
I'm saying?
Nassau,
County.
yep.
Nassau
That's what's
County.
up.
Okay, all right, Nassau County in the house.
I mean,
hear
that's
you.
pretty much an extension of Queens. I used to live out in Long Island too.
Absolutely,
so-
Yeah,
man.
we were just talking about
That's
it yesterday.
funny.
It's like,
This is a small ass
exact-
world, man. So look,
Yeah.
when the three of us
that's a
get
small
together,
place for all of us to be here over you.
all right. So when the
after
three
all
of us
this
get
time.
together, though, here's the deal. Like, we gonna go and see my sister because she up in the Hamptons, y'all. So we gonna go have a good time. All right. So y'all heard it. All right. Cool. All right. Please,
that
rest of
was
the
a-
introductions, though. Wow.
that
Go
was a
ahead,
very
Recon.
nice,
Tell
like,
us. Tell us about the rest,
connection.
Recon.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So as far as like hip hop and such, hip hop was one of the let me say music. I know if we talk about like hip hop culture, it's like music is this slice. Blah, blah, blah. For me, it's primarily the music stuff, and that was in my formative years, teens, younger than let's just say teens. I don't know if it's younger than teens and older, and I had all sorts of rap CDs and such that I still have over there, piles of. And it's a big deal to me. I became a poet and rapper when I was in my late teens to 20s through today. I'm in my mid 40s. And as far as rap as a mode of my own expression, I did that for the longest as a live performance, I guess creative expression. And I did that for like 7 years until the pandemic. And then it was a sudden just drop and a few shows since the pandemic, but it's not on a regular basis like it was before that. But that was as a rapper, so that's where I have the most experience in live performance. I released a bunch of CDs, solo CDs, collaboration CDs. These days, it's primarily just the live looping that I do, that is improvised, that I do on my YouTube page, which is, as Viral said, the name of my YouTube page is Reconsider It's Music Sketchpad, because it's all just random, like
Straight up sketches.
it's
That's what's up.
very,
That's dope.
it's totally unplanned, and there's very, very little follow up to any of it. So it's just a bunch of sketches improvised as I do it, and okay, we have a 17,000
Right?
miles of
I
sketches.
say.
Enjoy them.
I say.
That's my introduction. Thank you for having me.
And it's funny
Love
too
it,
because
man.
you know the way that the sketch ties in. Oh, we got our SOR
Oh
crew up
snap!
in
My
here.
my 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 brothers are here, man. My two younger brothers are in the house.
Okay, yeah, I said it was an open-ended link, so if you guys can make it in, you know, that's the way to do it. So hopefully you guys' sound is working okay. I think we're good over here. But yeah, as far as like the sketch stuff, you know, it's crazy because like I kind of produce the same way, do the chunks of the sounds that you want and put them together, and then just move on and move on and move on, and then go back to them and arrange the ones that you like the most, that you favor, and like, hey, these are the ones that I'm going to roll with. These are the ones I'm going to sell. These are the ones I'm going to give. That, you know, you dictate those things, but just it's sketch, sketch, sketch. You know, just this world really connects us in these strange that are not so strange. They're standard for us, but to the world out there, it's strange in unusual ways, and it's really, you know, profound and dope. And yeah, it's good to have you, Recon. And so I guess before we get to everybody else here, just to make sure that we're good on the sound and everything, since our friends over here have jumped into the chat here, we got Symptoms of Reality in the house. What's good, fellas? You guys good with your settings?
I don't know. Check 1, 2. Can you hear us? Yo, yo.
Definitely can.
Okay.
Could hear you both, and
So just no video then, correct?
no, we're good.
No,
On,
we got you on video.
we got you on
Oh.
video.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There are no discrepancies on our end, sir. So I guess we could move on to you guys if you want to, while you know, your sound is working and we got everything good. Not that it doesn't work normally. It's just, you know, the check is done. We're good. So we're ready to hear from you guys.
Yo, why we outside the box though? Like what?
Because there's an uneven amount of people now, so it's like
Oh.
you guys want to be in here, I'll go to
Oh.
the bottom here. Here,
Oh.
how about
Oh,
this?
okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. We
Here,
just
I'll
got
put-
some more added information.
No, she was explaining that question wasn't for you. It was for the woman in charge behind the camera.
Yeah. My bad. My bad. I just be talking out of
I'll
turn.
put myself on the bottom here. How about that?
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
no,
nah, you
it's
good,
not,
bro.
It's
You
not
good.
tripping like that.
You guys
It's
got the
no-
middle.
Yeah, my end it just
Yeah,
looked funky.
you
I
know-
was just kind of lost.
Hey,
in
you know, we
the
could change it at
house.
any time. It's
Yeah.
all
No,
good.
go
Don't
to
worry
viral.
about it.
Moser,
Go to
Moser,
viral.
and Trust My Monkeys. Look. Let Viral be on the bottom for a change.
And if anything, you can also do a
Just-
setting to where it's like,
Yeah.
Look,
my mouse, what
look. Moser, Trust My Monkeys, and myself, we were family, right? We're brothers, so we tired of riding the back of the bus there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just-
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. And I'm tired of robbing the bus too.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
We can still play hip hop squares though.
okay. So we need two more for that Brady Bunch, you know,
Yeah.
hip hop Brady Bunch going on here. Scrabble.
There's a story of a lonely lady. She raised all her kids by herself on her own.
She lived in South Central LA.
Damn. The ghetto bunch.
So how about you guys? Symptoms of Reality. Who are you? What's your connection with hip hop? I'll re-include you guys in the link. I was told that you guys weren't going to be able to make it, but you guys made it and you're here. So I will.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
retroactively
we're
include-
not here for long. We got to tend to outside business for our, you know, financial means. But
all good.
we are really not. When we entered the music space, we didn't enter under hip hop at all. We entered under like electronic music, fusion, jazz, fusion, blues. But with that being said, everything we know and everything we love about music started with hip hop. and that happened for us in the early or the late 80s. Late 80s.
So we're 47. So
Damn.
late 80s, early 90s.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, and that was a wide range of hip hop.
Yeah.
And before we even get too far down that line, I'm just gonna say right now, just to get it out of the way, 1994, Ahmad Lewis back in the day. I remember where I was at. That's you know what I'm saying? And that was at a very young age. So yeah, hip hop started it all. We transitioned from the boom bap to the gangster rap. And then after the gangster rap series, we went to into the Wu-Tang and then into consciousness. And then for us, I guess hip hop kind of took a course of not of our choosing, and we slowly navigated away from it and just kept our old artists tight. You know, like you'll still catch me playing a Guru album. So
Right.
You guys just got back from the record store, huh? Tell us about that.
Yeah, man. We just picked up a Doom album.
Doom album. I didn't even see that when you guys.
I grabbed the Doom album. I can't tell you which one I grabbed because I'm trying to grab
the
all
anniversary edition, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. No, he didn't have.
Rhyme Sayers are on it.
He didn't have Food. I'm on a waiting list for Food, but it was another Doom album. I wish I could go in the house and grab it, but I'm not going to do that. We just picked up Smokey Robinson Deluxe. We picked up Dead Prez. We picked up. What else did we get, man?
Didn't you get a Black Star?
Got Black Star, the second album, because you know. Talib Kweli and Yasin Bey was on some wild shit on this. Like when they released that, it was on some platform that you had to pay, and the only interesting thing was the Talib Kweli podcast, and the rest was just like it was whack. I guess it was really geared for the Talib show, and then they tried to get Dave Chappelle involved, and I don't know how that went, but I think it fell off the map. And when that fell off the map, the second Black Star album, in my eyes, fell off the map.
Yeah, kind of
Why
disappeared.
They didn't make that public is beyond me.
Yeah.
But I get it. You know, when you do something and you know you're going to get bent over for it and it's your art, you want to maximize your gains on it and not share that with, the overseers, for the lack of better terms.
That's why there's still some exclusive vinyl artists that are just like, I won't go anywhere else. I'll just stick to this because
stick to this. Yeah. I ain't knocking them boys, but I believe there was a better way to get it out to the public and still get your money.
Yeah.
And then
it's a hard market to hit if you're just doing exclusive vinyl. You're eliminating yourself from a lot of different ears.
Right. And it's a few more albums we got. I can't remember them off the top of my head.
We got my Bon Iver album, self-titled. I don't know if you guys are into Bon Iver, but boy, it's wicked.
So Moser and Trust My Monkeys, yo, look, see, man, look, I even sketched this.
See, now you're extra
wilding, bro.
Extra, bro.
Yeah. Bro, you wilding. You doing
no, we all been on some family-ish over here on YouTube.
Tell moms about
this. You do need to tell mom.
That yesterday you were on with these guys.
Tell you, look,
mom, son, wait, hold up, son. I wanna
look what you playing, mom.
Let me cop that though, bro.
I'm gonna send you the picture, man.
Yeah,
I'll send it to your phone, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit fat too, bro.
Yeah. So it's good to have you guys here, and I knew before getting in touch with you guys the music and hardware jams, but like when you guys were doing those streams and then started talking about hip hop, and it was like, oh shit, you guys are down like that. And then like start sharing your story a little bit more, and just like your hearts are always into it. That's why we did that hip hop piece for the birthday, because
right, yeah.
Hold on, Viral. Before we go any further, though, let everybody else introduce themselves, because these guys they need an introduction.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. We got plenty of time.
Because look, SRO, they famous, man. So
People know who
Bullshit.
they are.
What you
You got it
talking
back.
about?
You got it
bruh?
backwards.
You got it backwards.
SOR.
SOR.
Hey,
Yeah, SOR. You
Check it out.
dyslexic
Check it out.
motherfucker.
Damn, goddamn. Did I say SRO?
Damn, bro.
Stop the
God
bullshit.
damn,
You're doing
man.
that
Stop
shit
the
every time
bullshit.
we're on the
God
phone. It's like
damn.
every other time. It's like,
You know what? Yo, y'all know I got mental issues. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know.
know.
That's what I'm trying to
Hey,
remind you,
hey,
motherfucker.
no, I got
get to
papers.
that
Yeah.
side of the
I
conversation.
got papers.
Here.
Stop playing. Hey, look, and I'm your genetically your family. Y'all better
Damn,
stop playing.
Oh,
yeah,
shit,
but
yeah.
that's
There we go.
the reason why we are doing it, bro.
So,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
so Creax, how about you,
Yes,
sir?
Well, my name is Enzo, but I go by Cranings on YouTube and other places. I'm fairly new into making music. It started like during COVID, and I decided, you know what, I like music, almost all kind of music. So I really want to produce something or become a beat maker, which right now I am a beat maker, and I really do enjoy bringing sounds together, and so I'm really glad that Viri invited me here today to come and both learn, and and make new friends, new people.
Yeah.
So
Where you from? Trinidad, Jamaica? Like, what's that accent, bro?
now I'm from Sweden. I'm trying
Sweet.
to
The fuck you talk? What?
See, look.
Over
see,
here
look.
burying the lead for the
So
homies.
Enzo, you not the, see. Look, you messed up my two little brothers. You just messed them up.
Fuck
Bro,
you,
Because-
bro.
Because
Mess me
because
up.
Yo, their wig is
look, check it
split
out,
right
guys.
now. They're
I
like,
told
"What?"
Enzo earlier. I said when I first saw his name on the screen, I said, "Shit, I thought he was an Italian dude running around in Assassin's Creed." Okay, so like,
I thought he was Colombian. Yeah,
I didn't know what was going on. He threw me for a loop. They got brothers like you in what do you say? Switzerland?
Sweden, Sweden.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about the diversity and impact of hip hop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
our friend here, and speaking of impact, for those who don't know out here, we were talking about this when we were getting set up for the stream. This guy right here, those who know that are familiar with the channel already know this. This is the one. He's the one who got me back into emceeing again. If I didn't involve myself on
Yeah.
his channel just randomly while he's producing on FL, a drill beat out of all things
Enzo, we about to do some
got
drill.
me. And I said, how much? How much you want for that? And he said, and gave it up, and we did the stems on it, and I sent him out to do a collab or whatever. It didn't come back, but we're finally getting into doing that. But I thought we were just gonna produce here on the channel, and I thought the emceeing element of hip hop was out of our range, and because of this guy up here, because of just randomly existing on YouTube in hip hop, motivated an old timer like myself to come
Man, it
through
wasn't
and be
random, bro.
and it
That wasn't
and that's
random.
the thing, he brought it out of me. I didn't cross genres over and start talking that drill shit. I rapped me over his beat, and it really came out, and I really love you for that. And that's one of those moments that I'm going to be telling my grandchildren about, the thing that got me into or away from thinking that I was just going to, end it and produce my way into the sunset, Sweden, and that's the benefit of YouTube,
Right.
and the reach of hip hop, and shows the extent, get an old white boy from the Southwest to get out these bars and come fuck shit up again. And that's exactly what I've been doing ever since. I've been doing emceeing and shit and doing, just like, why am I not including that into my production? And it's all this man's fault here. So thank you, sir, for pulling
You're
my
welcome,
rusty
yo.
pen out the thing. And yeah, goddamn, man.
You gotta place blame where it's due.
Yeah, you do.
It's all your fault, man.
Yep.
Oh, shit, my
Enzo, I
bad,
want
yo.
one of those drill beats, man.
Yeah, I got you. Bro. If you guys like, cause I like using cinematics, scoring like that. For some reason, I'm really stuck with violin, cello. So you're gonna hear
Love
like
it.
a lot of cellos. So I'm like a cello guy. I don't even know how to
Love
play cello, but yeah.
I used to play a little bit in school, like in junior high school.
There you go. I started out as a violinist, man. So me and T Sketch, man, we'll start with the stringed instruments right now.
Damn.
Yeah, I thought I was the only analog dude up in here playing the bass, bro, but that's all good.
Yeah, we all family, man.
Yeah, I started with was it
SOR.
but violin, violin, then tried with the drums, and then saxophone. And I was like, nah, it ain't what's happening. I did the saxophone because of In Too Deep. If it weren't for Back to the Hotel, I probably wouldn't even tried with the saxophone. I
Back
just
to
wanted to
the
get my Bill Clinton on during that time.
Facts.
So here we go. You got anything else you want to add to that?
Not really. I'm just practicing how to play guitar. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just gotta get
Oh,
consistent
yeah.
with it, acoustic. You know, but I don't know how to play any instruments. So
Whoa.
Only way to figure it out is to play it. That's how I
Yep.
started.
true.
Pick it up and go and see if it
Stay with it.
vibes
Stay with
with
it.
you for
Yep.
sure. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see. Why is it doing that every time I click that? Here we go. Let me put him in the middle. And we have our final guest over here for the evening, Apollo Hanzo,
Apollo Hanzo.
staring into the moonlight.
Man,
Yeah.
Hanzo's joint is so dope. I'm sorry, Hanzo. I gotta say it again.
Oh, you-
This is dope.
I
My
appreciate it,
is
man. I
just-
appreciate you.
Who
So
are
I'm
you
Apollo
and
Han-
what's your connection to hip hop?
I'm Apollo Hanzo, and I was born in Los Angeles, and that's my connection to hip hop.
And that's
Enough
all
said.
it need to be.
Moving on.
That's
Like we
all it need to
this-
be.
yeah, really, like we all know what that is.
Yep.
For real. Like you
Born
could
in
just
LA.
tell me your
Born-
region or whatever, you know, and
Wait,
and
wait. Apollo, West LA or because we was born in West LA, White Memorial. Where we're
Yeah, close to it.
there you go. Yep.
You know, one of the things that has surprised me about general perceptions of reality is that Apollo's here, information and knowledge about hip hop and culture really took me by surprise. And it's not that I had any preconceived notions or anything like that. It's just he was talking to me about this like we talk about this, just hip hop shit. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, because usually when it comes to hip hop, you know, there's a certain demographic that can't talk about it like we talk about it, you know, that don't know the cast of characters or the timeline, the sequence of events, the meaning and all that other stuff. And to just randomly or not so randomly you know, stumble upon a friendship and just be like, oh yeah, by the way, we could have that hip hop conversation too, was really something that like, goddamn universe.
yeah. Well, hip hop nowadays, you can't even judge a book by the cover. You can't go out in the street nowadays and just be like,
He's
oh,
hip hop. He's not.
hip hop is
yeah.
a black thing. Hip hop is a brother's thing. It's what we grew up with. That is so not the case. And case in point was the record store today my brother went to, and this dude in Indiana, in middle of nowhere, he is well versed, well knowledge. You know, and that's the beauty of hip hop. We've conquered all these fictitious borders and these guidelines that hip hop music has transcended into a global phenomenon. Like everybody
Biggest form
now
of music
is
in the
hip-hop.
entire world.
The biggest form. And that's a blessing because music can bring everybody together now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we surpassed country around like 90, 98. We just blew right past them. They were the biggest of the biggest of the Mecca of the Mecca.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
for
true,
music.
man. That's
And
very
now-
true. That's a
And
that's
now
a real
country
stat.
is converted into hip hop now.
Oh, word.
Yeah. Yeah, not only Beyonce's latest effort, but even before that, you know, there's you know,
Listen,
There's
I'm in the middle of the country. I'm in Nebraska, and I be hearing all kinds of country trap. I'm like, wait, what? They be driving by. I be
Yeah.
like, I never heard that shit
Yo,
before.
we were in South Dakota. Last summer, we were in South Dakota, and we were hearing "Not Like Us" in the parking lot of Walmart. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy because there's like there's white people and there's natives pretty much. You know, I mean, there's other diversities, but it's pretty much those two cultures that exist in South Dakota. The rest of it's tourism and all that other stuff.
Right.
But to just, I mean, it was during the tail end of Sturgis and all that other stuff, but to just hear a song like that from the West Coast and these kids and not just more than once too, like it was a couple times, you know, and I'm just like, and I was even telling my mom, I was like, see, that is the impact of hip hop right there. That this diss song, this battle track right here is all the way over here from the West Coast. And these guys that you would never think in a million years are getting down to they not like us. They not like us.
'Cause it
Not
transcends. That's why.
understanding the meaning.
Yeah.
Like it
there-
transcends regions, you know, like genres, cultures. It don't
dialects,
everything. It don't even
cultures,
matter.
everything.
And but that's the thing too, if you think about it, right? Like hip hop. Now, okay, if we really talking, you know,
Wait.
rap
Hey,
music, hip-hop.
hang on. We still got T Sketch and Recon. We have
Yeah,
to bring
Oh, they
in.
already
we
did
already
theirs,
did that.
man.
Oh,
Yeah, we already
oh,
did that. You guys are
okay.
late
to the
Oh,
party,
all right.
guys. So
We
we're
way
late
late.
to the
We
Yo,
way
party.
yo,
late.
yo, yo,
My
yo,
bad.
late
Go
to the
ahead.
show.
Go ahead.
Look,
My
look,
bad.
look,
Go
look at
ahead.
my twins. Look at my twins. What they
Can't
did.
trump
They
my
just
rights. Go
tried to
ahead.
jump
doing the
up
twin
on me.
thing again.
How they all- wait, I was like Moser. Trust my monkeys. Get up off me. like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, it's like, you know, rap music, you know, beginning of rap music, hip hop, and hip hop with a capital H, two capital H's, right? Hip hop culture, you know, definitely, you know, if you think about it now, the reason why it's so vast and so broad now and so widely accepted is that one, certain cultures always bring culture to countries, right? That's something that, you know, if you think about African American culture, especially here in this country, that's brought a lot of culture to a lot of places, like everywhere, right? However, when we strictly talk about the music, look at all of the subgenres of hip hop there are. See, there's
Nice.
like, so yeah, so right, rap music is not just rap music how it was in New York, right? And hip hop culture itself is starting to splinter into a lot of different formations that
Yeah.
make up the culture now. It's not just, you know, now if you were talking about being a purist, obviously the main four elements, and then if you expand it out to the KRS-One theoretical, there are 9, right? But then, you know, the thing is that outside of that, there are so many subgenres that have emerged that have literally just enriched music as a whole. Like, and we continue to do that, right? It's like rap music is evolving even today. So
Yeah,
we got a lot going on with that.
speaking to your point too, as far as like the attention and everything, what it does, all these other subgenres, is that they get people to check for hip hop that weren't necessarily checking for hip hop before. I've seen this happen up close with West Coast when opening up for Tech Nine during a point to where he's doing a Paul Wall tour, or when he's got E40 with him. You know, my wife and I, our first date, I brought her to the Tech Nine E40 show, you know, because I opened up over there. So I kind of cheated the game as far as our relationship goes. But like that was it, you know, and it was dope to see, you know, people that were really technicians into Tech Nine getting hyphy, you know, and they knew the dance, you know, they knew, you know, everything about that already, and it was hip hop that kind of, you know, converged those two subgenres into this, you know, dope ass show and party and all that. Just really, really crazy how things web out and connect to one another like that. And I've seen it so many times up close, and it is really dope. Let me say what's up to some people here in the chat, as I've been saying, seen it go by. Doommonger, Nile Special, Destructo, undefeated. Destructo's a hip hop man through and through. I didn't introduce myself, and it's, you know, you guys are on this channel, so you guys pretty much know as far as things go, you know, my history with things. I'm actually in the process of sharing it. You know, those who are new to the channel likely are new because of this going through my mom's records video, and what we're getting into here is sampling some of those records and incorporating them into this hip hop album that we're working on. And you know, a part of pulling these records and doing this is sharing a bit of hip hop history. So, you know, we're kind of doing it for so many other reasons, and you guys are already aware of that. So, as far as I go here, you know, from the Southwest, born and raised Phoenix, Arizona. Now I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and yeah, grew up with hip hop. You know, when I was younger, I used to carry, or kids had baseball cards. I had Yo MTV Raps cards over here. I was collecting these. See which MC to win in the battle over here. You know what I mean? Like, and I even rapped about it later on in one of my albums. You know, see which one would win in the battle, and just all the, and it's crazy because like comes full circle. Tone Loc. Tone Loc was at my shop a week before it opened. You know,
Jeez.
and just this great profound moment in hip hop with Shock G and the guys from Digital Underground, and we just had this profound jam session that will never get out there. Really, I mean, there's video of it. We had a professional camera crew and everything like that, but it was such a profound moment, and how a guy like me during the time to where I was listening to Shock G and Humpty Dance. We were just Apollo and I were just talking about Digital Underground because he had reminded me that they were in that damn that Chevy Chase movie or whatever back in the day, and I'm not as familiar with that movie because I had only seen it a couple of times or whatever.
Nothing but trouble.
Nothing but
Yeah.
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remembered that thing in there, and he reminded me that Pac was, around during that time because we were talking about this record right here, this that I just did a video of that I took down because there's more information that we found about this and what turned out to be a Biggie verse that we thought was from a different time was actually extracted from a different record. And there's a whole lot of other information to add to that, and it's crazy how I didn't notice. But shout out to the homie Air Spider, who's been a supporter of this channel since the beginning of it, who pointed that out and was actually working at a mixtape place and happened to catch the vocal tag in the front and was like, yeah, that vocal tag dates it at 2002, long after Biggie passed away. So I had to pull it down just out of my consciousness. I feel some kind of way about DJ Vlad and them putting out, people after they pass away in hip hop. But that's a totally different story that I'll get into in the video. But as far as things go, that's pretty much my connection here. Born and raised in the Southwest, and here we go. We're hip hopping on this channel, whether you like it or not, and just kind of incorporating all these worlds because people don't realize that what brought us to the gangster rap movement was not only our environment of where we were at, is because we grew up listening to these prog records, and even though those weren't sampled, in hip hop the way that they were, all the same machines were used, all those synthesizers, the Rick Wakeman getting down and all that, even though they weren't sampled by hip hop, that sound when Dr. Dre and G-Funk and all that stuff became a thing, it was that plus the neighborhood thing. So that was a bonus. I had a personal attachment to, what was going on and shit. So it was such a deep-rooted connection that brought me to that point. And it all came from prog records, from my parents. So connecting these worlds is kind of the process that we're at right now in this channel. So and going down the list, actually this kind of works out because we had on our list subgenres was one of them, but another thing that's another them is another one here is is how you guys feel on the current status of hip hop and where you feel hip hop currently sits in this conversation in the world over here. So you guys think? We all are good communicators. We're all here and kind of know the name of the game. So, when it comes down to it, it's like, yeah, just go. Whoever wants to start.
That's so vague. That's going to be like the eye of the beholder. I could
It's-
sit here
It
and
is.
tell you,
It totally
not-
is.
yeah, it's not
all a
only
matter of
vague, it's just-
perspective.
It's just highly subjective.
yeah, highly. I could sit here and tell you hip hop is dead, but I know damn well if you go looking in the right places, it's alive and well.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
this channel. So
I actually,
never shit around here. No, I'm
right.
just kidding.
I actually call
think-
hip hop something else. Like to me, conscious philosophy, conscious rap. To me, that's hip hop. Anything outside of that, I just consider it rap.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. And
um,
the thing is that I used to even more so like kind of shit on the hip hop is dead conversation because I've been kind of on the antithesis end of that conversation, but I understand where it comes from. So I don't really judge people like that if they were to say that, like, hey,
Mhm.
hip hop is dead, even though, it's different over here on this side. But it's like you said, it's highly subjective, and hip
Highly.
hop is not the same for everybody,
I'll
Mm-mm.
tell you what.
especially.
I'll tell you what. It's going to be the same as we progress with everything. I remember when like uh Cool and the Gang and all that, Zapp and Roger, and then you when hip hop was really starting to come around because these were the branches that it was stemming from. They all said back then, "Oh, all y'all kids got is this MC Hammer, MC Light, MC this, MC Yellow, MC Ren, all these MCs." And now
Should have heard
I
my
can
grandpa.
I can actually look at it now and see what they're talking about because now I look at it at all this what do they call it
Trap
and I see
mhm.
all this the baby and
And
the
little
baby
this and
little
little that, and
and
yeah.
I can see now how it's transcending into a taste, right? To me, it'll always be the classics. It'll always be the oldies, and I get it now, and I get why people feel that way. It's because when you had something at its birthright, when it was like at the dawn, it was at its purest form. To me, I'm just speaking to me, and this is why everybody's kind of like where these little things are popping up, these little sprouts like Coast Contra. Everybody's trying to go back to this era and rekindle the
Not
boom.
everybody.
Not everybody, but
Yeah.
it rekindled the
But
boom
it's
bap.
in. Yeah, boom bap
Yeah,
is
yeah,
in.
yeah. Rekindle the
Hip hop is
KRS
in.
One Days. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Because when you think hip hop, outside of where we're at now, it's always the birthplace. It's always where did hip hop come from? And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people that have been into it, like our generation of baby boomers or whatever, or hip hop boomers, I think that's the new stigma. Old cards don't die fast. It's not until that older population dies off where
Yeah.
hip hop takes that new
And then
floor.
you'll have nostalgic forms of it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that with people like Redman, and the old timers are really, I mean, I call them old timers loosely because we're all mostly in that generation, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But it's crazy as far as the general, public is concerned or whatever. We are, middle aged and reaching that point to where we are getting the keys, the people who created this music are starting to get some of the keys handed to them to drive this, and putting out some really dope music, and reminding everybody, yo, like, you get better with age, and that's something that is lost in hip hop, because you're taught by the industry, and a lot of it has to do with industry control and everything like that, trying to tell you that you're too old to do it because they know that you know how to read a contract that these young guys don't know how to read. So like they want to
Right.
make sure they could milk that cow and take advantage all the way to the very end, and play off the ignorance, and develop what type of artist they want to go out there. But all that stuff is not only the antithesis of music and development, but it's also the antithesis of hip hop, especially because it has always been street music. So even when you have street music reach that level, they're like, hey, how do we get some of this going on? And they're trying to find out, how do we capitalize off this newfound interest in hip hop? And they're looking around. Well, and it's happening without them. It's happening without them. It's happening organically, and that's what I like about all this stuff, and with the space and technology. Anybody else want to chime in here? What are you guys' thoughts on the current status of hip hop here?
Yeah.
To sketch.
I was ready to say something extremely witty, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm not really tuned into the modern state of hip hop. I was ready to say something like that, but instead of saying it, I'm just making a reference to the fact that I thought about saying it, and thereby am implicitly also saying it. I'm not really in tune with, the modern state of hip hop, but I thought about like how I relate to that question. Like for me, what is in my life the modern way I relate with hip hop? And I thought about how, because of how I spent so many years just performing in a local and regional scope, that my sense of like hip hop and just, rappers and producers and, all putting on shows and all this, it has become like more localized. So my sense is like, I'm curious to hear what anyone on this Zoom also thinks about this. But what is your idea of the sense of like moving from I don't know, hip hop in its most glorious heyday. Look at this huge global name of an artist, which, you know, has the tendency to become commercialized and corporatized and more closely resembling a puppet than an individual artist with a message. Um, so, what is your thoughts on the idea of like that forcing any kind of realness of hip hop to be more of, I guess, Viral, you were kind of saying like a organic sort of thing, from the bottom up kind of thing, including knowing artists close to you, whether that's local artists who you see at a local show, some dork performing in a, you know, dive bar, or you know, some YouTube artists. What do you? Anyone have thoughts on any of that?
Well, as far as
Yeah,
yeah, I was just
yeah,
I was just waiting for you. Go
yeah.
ahead.
I got a couple of thoughts on some of this. Um, so so the first one, was it the question? Was rap dead or is hip hop dead?
No, it's the current status of hip hop, and then you know, to Recon's point, you know, kind of
Yeah, yeah.
focusing on a more localized perspective
Yeah,
of.
yeah. I heard recons. I just wanted to make sure I heard the first one
No,
correctly.
we're just
That
kind of checking in on the current status of hip hop.
um, I think that hip hop, like my two brothers said, that you know, hip hop's alive and well, right? In in the world, I think it is.
For sure.
I think that there are a lot of people whose consciousness is dead, though. I think that we gave away a lot
For sure.
from recon from the point of view of when hip hop was conscious, right? When there were groups like, you know, like my man Lakim Shabazz, like, you know, like Public Enemy, groups like that that were working toward being a voice in hip hop, like a modern civil rights movement to continue down that line of, equality, equity, all these kind of different kind of things to crush racism, actually, believe it or not. And the way you crush that is by addressing it and talking about it, right? Us having a dialogue and a conversation about it. But a lot of the record companies were able to control the narrative, the direction, the voicing to allow for that commercialism to happen. They didn't want a lot of that to be, they didn't want people to be conscious. Like that doesn't sell for them. That takes away control too from a lot of different elements of business. That takes, and I'm talking about, because again, now we're getting into, we can talk about racism because, granted, there is racism in the world, right? Like nobody's going to deny that. But there's also a thing called classism. There's a thing called placism. Like you better know your place kind of thing, right? So there's this thing where money, capitalism is the most important aspect of this thing, right? So we have to understand that when you have people who are in power who can control the directive, the narrative, the story, right? And can say, hey, we're going in this direction. Do you want to be famous? Do you want to make money? Do you want to this? You're going to do this. This is what you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And a lot of us older, and I feel like I'm a little bit to blame too, because a lot of us older, musicians, producers, artists, we didn't really say anything while that was happening. We didn't really help to control it and be like, hey, talking to the young brothers and young sisters out there to be like, hey, wait a minute, that's not cool. Because how did we get from, we're talking about culture and heritage and things of that nature to all of a sudden, we talking about, big booties, gold chains, and, everything that's in your teeth and, what you drinking and, popping bottles at the club, I mean, it's like, damn, I didn't even know when that happened. I was just like, oh, suddenly I found myself tuning out and I didn't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah, and then that's kind of where the independent underground stepped in because the industry converged.
Right.
Like crunk stuff and like real club music, and there were so many people that were tired of it, and they were just like independently, who's got bars? And then all of a sudden, Tech Nine, Insane Clown Posse, and all them have this resurgence after the '90s, and it's crazy.
Thank you, Viral Beast.
business wise.
Look at your screen.
He over there working. Yeah.
That's because I love you, brothers, man. That's why. Don't worry, everybody else. I'm looking at y'all real close. Apollo,
Hey,
yours is gonna be hard.
just
to
put,
do.
just put everybody in my studio. Just put the studio behind.
It's funny though because what you were saying about the responsibility of it, because I have this line that says, if hip hop is dead, it's because you helped kill it.
Right.
And
You know,
and that's kind of where I'm at with it. If you have that feeling and that perspective, something in you as far as your relationship to hip hop has died, and what exactly has killed that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
yeah.
but when it comes to us and MCs and in the game, and and those of us who've been suppressed over these years as far as our content, music, and all this other stuff for various reasons, various isms, and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of the reasons are because the people in charge didn't give us a fair shake, didn't give us a chance, and led us to believe that if we're not in their club, we can't be in the club of
At
making
all.
music.
Yeah.
And then realizing in the early 2000s, around 2005, 2006, that wait a minute, this independent thing could put you on the Forbes list. Like you could really
Mhm.
go that. I don't think that was when Tex showed up on the Forbes list, but it was shortly after that generation. But during that time, there was this huge resurgence in the independent underground, and these guys were making multi-million dollars in the industry just doing the music thing and just totally independently of all that. And then finally, after all these years, it's crazy that a group like Insane Clown Posse is starting to get their hip hop flowers, even on
Yeah.
Drink Champs.
Right.
Because
But
how
that's
the
but
subgenre
that,
related and made this resurgence happen.
but that goes back to what Son was saying. Hip hop is not like, so for most people, I'm going to say for most people, it's not about that they lost faith in hip hop. It's that when it went mainstream and commercial,
Right.
and then it changed and flipped the
Yeah.
script because
It was supposed to be it was supposed to be about black embetterment in the very beginning.
right. And then when Killer Priest said it the best is hip hop is dead and mumble rap wrote the eulogy. It's just like the
That
way
is
that
actually
is
true.
the way that is transferred over.
Mhm.
It's just that it now the mainstream is that it's trap rap. What you were saying, ass, titties, rims, how to disrespect women, this and and that's
it's
that
crazy.
is not hip hop. That is
Right.
not, you can't label something that is totally not what it is. I can't call Coors Light Don Perignon. It don't
Yeah,
make it
the
don't, it don't make
champagne
no
of
damn
beers
sense.
Yeah.
like Miller High
Facts.
Life,
Facts.
Like,
Right.
what about champagne.
But the biggest factor is, and it's not a racist factor, it's the truth. After the Black Panthers were pretty much abolished or disassociated, who remembers the song "Don't Push Me Close to the
Absolutely.
Edge"?
It's an
I'm
anthem.
trying. You know what I'm saying?
Not to lose my head.
That was hip hop then. They were like brothers on the show floor trying to show other brothers, you cannot walk this route on the streets. You cannot be like me. I'm living it. It's a dead fucking end.
Yeah.
We have to be better than this. It was supposed to be about black embetterment.
Absolutely.
That's what it originally started off as.
Yep.
Community.
And
It's about
Yeah.
community,
Dancing, art.
and not to go down the route. And I'm just going to stick it into this category because this is facts on how this shit was really going. Then the 5%ers from the 5% Nation started to enter hip hop. Hence KRS-One with the 5% Nation. They knew what it was for. They knew what the cost of selling one soul was going to be about. But then you had the Jewish organizations who were in control of what? The radio waves. Now, I'm not saying that they were bad individuals, but a lot of them wasn't doing good.
But if you look at the history of music
And
from the very beginning, it led up to that point because it was already problematic from
exactly.
systemically.
Exactly. So when the powers that be, especially on the West Coast, off of La Brea and all these streets that if you're not from the West Coast, you don't know. But when the radios became invested into poverty and the lifestyles that came from poverty, they saw another Huey Newton, but it was bigger, it was larger, and this music was starting to be infectious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was starting to make it to suburbia.
And the only thing that they could do at this point, before any more messages were being presented into those ears of trying to make them understand how to love family, don't go down certain avenues, stay away from drugs. As soon as they started, what happens with any society on the brink of being conscious, they shut that shit down.
Oh, definitely.
And then that's when, I'm the one son was saying, you started to go deaf to what was being presented to you, because somewhere in the middle, they took all that messaging, all those messages, and turned it into materialistic forms.
And you gotta keep in mind, everybody, and everybody in here is every person on this call right now. I think that it is safe for me to say that all of you have really good ears, because you're all musicians, music makers, producers.
Shit, T Sketch
artists,
got
right?
fucking crazy
Yeah,
beats.
she
I know
got it. Yeah, she
her
got it.
ears is
Yeah, they just found
stupid.
out about her last night. They're like,
Oh yeah, my sister.
yeah,
That's
got
my
some
sister,
retarded
man.
ass ears.
She
Yeah.
from the same neighborhood, y'all. Just so y'all know, me and
Yeah.
T-Sketch, we cut from the same cloth. So
Yeah, I was just
Um,
thinking that.
Recon,
Funny
too.
enough, I was
Yeah,
just thinking that because
yeah.
I was looking at everybody in here going, "Yeah, I already know Recon.
Right.
I already know he KRS-One because I can
Right.
hear it by the way he fucking spits his bars."
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and in order to be in this cipher,
The only
you have
person-
to be of
yeah.
an intelligent mind.
The only person I don't know is this Sweden motherfucker right
Yeah, he's
here.
throwing us for it.
I suck this motherfucker right here.
I'm like only here to learn. Mainly, that's why maybe say much. Listening to y'all and
well,
pick us-
Enzo.
the youngest guy in the group.
So when I come out there, you better introduce me to a Swiss Miss. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm
Yeah.
totally kidding.
Swisher Swiss.
That brother got all the milk of magnesia out there.
But but what I was saying is, shit, I'll forget what I was saying, y'all. Look, everyone's got a great ear, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so since we're talking about great ears, here's the deal. We know that this goes deeper than hip hop music. Now we're gonna go there. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole for a quick second, and I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
So great ears means that we hear frequencies, right, guys? Frequencies. And we
Facts.
know, so T-Sketch and I, we talk about this all the time, is that frequency can change your whole
Demeanor.
state of mind.
Mhm.
Brothers, y'all know symptoms of reality. Y'all do your music in a certain frequency,
Mhm.
and it's all about higher frequencies and elevation of the self and of the mind, right? So if we're operating in frequencies, then we should talk about how do frequencies impact us, right? So we know musically and media wise, part of the music game has always been part of their psychological warfare profile against the American people, against
Right.
people, societies all over the world, right? So look,
Yes.
we've got, and Recon, here we go. Here comes to New York, y'all. Here we go. Here come LA, y'all. And look, in Sweden, y'all probably got treated a little more nicer than we did. Okay,
Hell yeah,
y'all
they
got
did.
nicer laws. Cyrus, the virus knows what I'm talking about. Look here. Look, television programming, right? Radio
Word.
programming,
Word is
social
bond.
media programming. See, the whole thing, it's a program. It's a it's a pre-planned set of frequencies designed to lower our inhibitions, designed to lower our defenses against things. It's designed to influence how we're thinking, to
Put our
influence-
bodies put
yeah,
our bodies in dis-ease,
Yep.
absolutely, right?
disease.
100%.
Create,
Yep.
so it's a form of programmed self-destruction, and it'll make it look like they didn't have anything to do with it. The
Do with
powers
it,
that be,
yep.
right? We didn't have. Said y'all the one listening to it.
And why y'all think it's tuned to 440 hertz? Because it
Right.
hits your root chakra.
Bam,
Exactly.
And
bam, here
that's
we
your
go.
security, that's your stability. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a sense of belonging. So like everybody's like, oh, it's not that serious. Yeah, it is. That's why
Yeah,
I
it's
tune
that
all my
serious.
music is tuned to 432 hertz. That's the universal
Yeah.
frequency. I don't
That's
play that.
nature. That's
yeah, I don't
nature.
exactly.
Absolutely.
I don't play that. So like,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
and that, I think that's why I've had trouble as far as like people being attracted to my beats, because it's you know, the frequency of my beats is going to repel any low vibrations. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Because that's
right,
how I
yeah.
make my music. Like I'm
Yep.
more of a, I know that's my power. Music is magic. You know what I'm saying? So like
I
the
jumped
the
head first into that
frequencies.
beat, and that was a positive song.
Did
dude.
y'all hear that though? See, look, see, you got to understand something. It is true though. Music,
Mhm.
everyone in here, we're making magic. Why do you think we call, when we think about music, we say it's mood music, right? It's mood. It puts you in certain states of mind, certain states of being.
Life
And
changing.
and by saying it's magic, that's absolutely true, because when we get together and we put together, like, look, melodies, counter melodies, bass lines, we got our percussion, right? Drums. We put all that stuff together. And the thing about it is that's alchemy. That's
Absolutely.
some serious magic going on there. And, you know, and we add our voices, right? Which is another instrument, right? It's, again, it's alchemy. Some people don't like the idea of the word magic because they automatically start thinking, oh, it's evil, it's blasphemous, it's this, it's that. You know, no, there is
Powered by the
also
spirit.
It's all
Right,
about
there's-
By the
intention.
spirit. You can't say
Yeah.
it's
It's
evil
all
if it's
about-
powered by the spirit.
Yeah.
It's all
So-
about intention.
So
at the
yeah,
end of the
so
day.
absolutely, right? So the intention of it, right? So here's the thing: it's like part of this whole kind of this direction that this thing is going in. It's always kind of been here underneath, right? Under the
Yeah.
surface of things, they've always been working, and the thing to change the narrative, to make us think and feel a certain way. You know, and see, the thing is, they don't like any of us on the call. By the way,
Hell
we're
no.
not well liked. I'm gonna tell
For
you that right now,
disruptors.
because the
Oh,
problem
that
is
third
that
eye, that third eye is
Yeah.
open, bro.
Yeah,
third
the
eyes
free- the
open.
free
our-
thinkers, man,
Our
free
ears
thinkers.
Yeah.
are sensitive to what we're hearing, what we're creating, what we're experiencing, and we're educating other people to wake up from these things, because these things can destroy communities, destroys our mental health, can destroy our physical health, all these kind of things, and we know how to feed our spirits properly to
Right.
get ourselves, you know, in alignment.
And we're
Right.
also
So-
able to recognize what the current status is of things, and the fact that
And
like,
Recon, I
like,
see you
second-
chomping at the bit, man. Come on, jump in here, man. Because
No,
Apollo.
I feel you,
Yeah.
brother. I feel you. And Apollo's like, yeah, I'm about to get in there, y'all. So let's go. Come on.
I have
And-
another thought where I'm curious what everyone here on the Zoom thinks about this, but you know, all this conversation about narrative and intentionality and alchemy, I believe, and magic. This is exciting to me to hear you speaking like this, because this is like my definition of what a proper artist is somebody who intentionally uses their craft as a form of channeling intention in order to implement alchemy in their what they can reach with their reach. So it's good to hear you speaking this way. My question is this: what, like, if you reflect on your own insights from, let's say, that however many decades until now, you know, past however many decades,
Why you gotta talk about me
perceive-
like that, Recon?
So speaking specifically to Sun and only Sun,
Yeah.
but if you reflect on whatever, do you perceive any sort of pattern or direction, or the lack thereof, with respect to let's say, the consumers of hip hop culture, and let's say just specifically music for now, for the target audience, the people who want the hip hop to consume it? Is there any change compared to, let's say, like the 90s? I think back to the 90s, and it was cool to be independent and have thoughts, and, you know, not, you know, kill your television
Had
kind
to.
of shit.
You had to
You
be
know.
original. Like, it had to be a
Mhm.
thing. Like, you had to
Yeah.
differentiate yourself between other artists, or else you're biting. You're out of hip
And you couldn't be a sucker MC either.
Absolutely.
You know what I
no
mean?
shark biting.
Man,
No,
No
you couldn't be a
shark
sucker-
biting.
It was rules to
Gas
this.
face.
you
Yeah.
done lit a fuse now, Recon,
Yeah.
because Because
That-
man,
Oh, we're all
that's-
gonna throw in these fucking hip hop
that-
terminologies and shit.
That fucking
the
that,
artist,
that,
though.
that fucking Mass Appeal was
I don't
was
want to
like
hear it. Don't even come.
Gangstar, like
I'm telling
Guru
you.
on Mass Appeal. He said it all right there. Suckers be playing themselves to have Mass Appeal, bruh.
Exactly.
Kill
Yeah,
themselves
man.
for it.
So
But that-
Enzo, you the young brother up in here, man, and
Yeah,
young
yeah.
blood. Let me tell you something, man. Like back in okay, so a lot of music today, you know, there a lot of artists, and I'm not. And by the way, so for
Wait.
all the-
Time out. We got to answer Recon's question.
Yeah. But I just wanted, but it is part of it. Trust me,
Okay.
we're gonna go
All
right
right.
back to Recon. Enzo,
Yeah, you
like
trust
I'm
my
just gonna
monkey.
tell
I'm
you
gonna throw a
something,
circle
man.
here. We're gonna come full
Being the
circle.
young dude is that we going full circle. Yeah. Being the young dude, I just want you to know that Viral says something very important that you should keep in mind. A lot of artists today, and it's no disrespect to any young artists that are creating music and performing, a lot of the guys they want to sound the same. They're kind of like almost regurgitating
Xerox.
each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like they sound
Xerox.
very
Copying
similar.
success. They're trying to
right?
imitate success.
Right. So whatever
Doesn't
is,
work.
whatever works, I'm gonna jump on that, jump on that. And I understand that. And hey, look, I respect the hustle. But what I'm saying is that back in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, when we were making music, rap music, creating hip hop, if you sounded like someone else,
Bye.
He was a sucker
you
MC.
were getting
Even a little bit.
you were getting gun,
A
you
little
were
bit.
you were done. You were done. You were a sucker MC at that point. And if you got labeled sucker MC and you weren't solid, forget it. Like you
You get a
were
wedgie and they kick you off the block, son.
Yeah, no kind of right. You know what I'm saying? T-Sketch, it was like you didn't get any respect. And now the respect is who gets the bag the fastest now. That's the
And
only
who has
respect.
the most
Who gets the
numbers.
bag.
You know, it's been
Okay.
a
Which is
popularity
fine, but we got to
contest.
separate that. That's the problem. They're
Right,
like, oh,
true.
but I
So-
get the bag, but I get the bag. Okay, that's cool. That's
Yep.
cool. Get your
That's
bag.
what Drake was saying. Okay, yeah, here we go.
Okay, let's not talk
But
about the
Recon, we
non-hip
gotta
hop
get back
dude.
to
We're not
Recon.
gonna go
We gotta
there.
Get back to Recon. So
Can I
Recon,
say
your
something?
question.
She's going there.
And Apollo, jump in here
she's
too,
going there.
please.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So if I may, like back in your old days, no, because I'm pretty young, I'm just gonna say it. But before people, there were a lot of like analog stuff going on. Meanwhile, today is a lot of digital. So
Mhm.
the beat making, producing is very wide today compared to yesterday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because back in the days, a lot of people wasn't creative. People were creative actually than today. So if you couldn't get a hardware or get money to buy some stuff, you won't be able to DJ or do whatever. But today you can crack anything to do on the internet.
Yeah,
And
this kind of computing materials, they weren't available
Exactly.
to us at all.
So-
Yeah.
So a lot of people go for the mainstream because that's the way it's selling today in the club. And like from my perspective, okay, personally, I do listen to old school hip hop a lot, right? I don't like the mumble
Good on
jumbo
you.
stuff. Like it's not like but from what I've seen is like a lot of youngins today, they don't listen to the actual music, what they say, just the beat.
Mhm.
Oh, this is really it's really nice, So that's what that's the difference between today hip hop and 30 years ago hip
Yeah.
hop, where music is really good, but today it's not about they don't a lot of people don't really care about that these days, which is
Yeah.
really sad because hip hop is it brought up a lot of stuff, like, and it helped a lot of people,
Bars and
people.
delivery go a long
But
way.
you
Exactly, go on.
Hip hop. Okay.
Yeah.
Higher
And Recon,
intelligent.
Can you
Higher.
recap us your question too, by the way, when we continue, when everybody gets done? I'm sorry I derailed you, man. I apologize, brother.
Yeah, for real. Because I definitely want to chime in on that. But I'm just gonna say higher intelligent power, healing our people. That's what hip hop stands for. And they've fallen away from the healing. It's all about the business. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about that. And that's all only for
Even
people.
here on YouTube.
Yeah, that's only for people who are really seeking to heal. You know what I'm saying? To seek more than what's in the box. You know what I'm saying? The ones who question things, and like from the 90s, they tried to destroy hip hop. They couldn't, so they infiltrated it and made money from it. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when I was a kid, I remember them burning a whole pile of hip hop CDs, talking about, oh, this is horrible music. We gotta,
Evermore and all them.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So like, and then all of a sudden now it's taken over the world, but that's because they figured out how to infiltrate it, make money from it, but also feed the prison system at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
But I'm like Easy E when it came down to Tipper Gore and all them burning everything. I was like, shit, you bought it. You can do what you want with it.
You can do what you
Yes.
want
It's
with it.
like,
Sound
burn
like
those
a
shits, you know,
two-shot,
like
like,
whatever you want
ask
to make a
your wife.
bonfire, right? But
Yeah.
but they did put a negative spin on, you know, a lot of great artistry that was, you know, being created. But Recon, can you please recap your question? I am so sorry, brother. Like I went down that path. So
Yeah. So I like the fact that it did seem to light a fuse. That's I value that very greatly, and we should always, in my opinion, be good with where that wound up going. Anyway, my question is less about the artists, because certainly among artists, among the creatives, we have certainly strong opinions about, like, of course you should remain really original.
Purists.
But purist. That's a good. That's a nice one-word summary of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But my question is more about, like, in the public, in those who would consume any products we might create. Has there been a shift in demand? Did there used to be a demand for the, like, really cool original character, but nowadays there's not as much a demand from people, from, you know, the public or whoever? So that's my real question there, is about whether there's a shift in those who would consume what we might create.
Answer that, Apollo.
Oh,
He's like, oh.
yeah, I agree.
Apollo,
I mean, for me, I'm kind of like not out of the box. I'm not in the box. I'm kind of above the box. My music journey is completely different. I don't expect to get famous. I don't expect to get any kind of money out of this deal. I'm doing it pure for the sonics and the frequency. You know, like T said, the frequency is really what got me into it. You know, a couple years ago, I had a heart attack. I thought I was done. I was playing video games, for like my free time, and yelling at the screen, and and I love music. And when I'd sit there and listen to music, it was great. And I found myself listening to music that was 20, 30, 40 years old constantly. And then, so that's what got me into it, guys, is I want to make beats like they did back in the 90s, the 70s.
Yeah.
And make music for myself. So it's like, I'm not really on that page, I'm going to get a hit record, or, I'm going to do this, anybody enjoys my music, fine. It's great. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just for me.
Yep.
yeah,
I
and
think-
Apollo, I'm with you too on that, by the way,
Yeah.
because like I only do it for fun, and just so you know too, Apollo, that there are two people on this call that actually died and came back to life.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we're in
Yeah.
we're in your presence right now.
I think
So-
as far as the public consumption of, if it's like hip hop, to me is now, like, to really answer Recon's question, if I'm not an artist and I'm just going to a record store, I'm probably like, hip hop is going to be more like vinyl making a comeback,
right.
or like CDs making a comeback. Somebody's going to look at it and go, and maybe it's for the first time, and go, oh my God, what is this? Or then you're going to have guys like us who've listened to a wide range of music going, oh man, I remember back in the day, this album came out. I don't know if hip hop is on the top of the charts like some people think it is. Yeah, it's one of, if not the largest genres out there that's banging right now. But it's hard to say if people are really going to the store nowadays for a
Right.
particular thing. Nowadays, I believe there's so many musicians and so many artists for those that just want to consume music and not play music. I think now is the era of, you go wherever you go, you hear someone playing music, it sparks your ear. I'm a cop that. Or I go into a record store and the owner's playing something over the speakers. You're like, oh my God, what is that? I can ask my son, who's not really big into hip hop or soul, or he likes everything. And when you try to bring up the meaning of hip hop to my son, or even maybe my daughter, they don't care. They don't care about history
You're
of
right.
one genre
You
or
wanna hear
another.
that bullshit, yeah.
And I think it's bliss, because they're living in the moment of what they hear. yeah, education into something is great, but they don't care.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the case with most consumers is they find something they like. I mean, how
They
many
go
people
at
do
it.
you really know want to investigate the origins of?
Right.
You
And I
know?
think when it was new, Recon, that's when people were really drawn to hip hop in that manner, right?
Yeah.
So like you had like there were heroes in hip hop for us, right? Like we all like had heroes in hip hop. And we were like, man, I can't wait till that new Cool G rap and Polo joint drops.
Yep.
I can't
Mhm.
wait till the Wu Tang come out.
Yeah,
I
you go to
can't
the
wait,
store
you know, until
immediately.
Right,
NWA
right.
drops something. You know, we had hip hop heroes. And now, like honestly, like so, like for instance, you know, I like music from like Big Sean and people like that too. But the thing is, it's like, but I'm not waiting for the
Yeah.
next Big Sean album to drop. I'm not. Like if he comes out and I hear a song that's dope, I'm like, oh yo, that's that's pretty dope. But it's not like I'm like, waiting, like, like when I heard Redman was dropping an album, bro, guys, I
It
was
was worth
like,
every
Muddy
waiting
Waters
minute
too.
of
I,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like a back. I felt like I was back in the day, and I was like
Stunning
fiending for a
example.
hip hop album.
Mhm.
And I must have played that joint. Like I played a lot of times when I'm working out, and I mean, I must have played that joint for like 2-3 weeks straight,
Yeah.
like every day.
Yeah,
Like,
it was the first time in a long time that I bumped an album back to back like that and didn't skip.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
every song
Redman was
on
the
the
first time
album
in
was dope.
decades that did
Mm.
that to me.
Muddy Waters.
Because a lot of
Yeah,
songs
Muddy
are just
Waters too, yeah.
fillers, man. They're not telling a story.
Exactly.
They're not,
right.
and those are the joints that like I would love to wait for a CD to drop or a tape to drop. I'll be going to the Coconuts. Remember Coconuts back in the day?
Hell
I used
yeah.
to go there to the Wiz or whatever and go.
Oh man, you said the Wiz.
Yeah, man, and just go and just be waiting.
Recon is laughing too.
I'm telling you,
man,
'cause
Long
it's like-
Island in the house.
But
stand
like
up,
the
yo.
feeling of getting an album and opening it up to read
Yeah,
the lyrics or the credits, it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's digital now, but it's not the same feeling. You know what I'm saying?
It's
That
not, it's not
that-
tangible.
yeah,
Yeah.
that physical
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that you get. You know what I'm saying? It's
and-
like
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
excitement. You're like, oh, I'm gonna cop this, and then you
Yeah.
get tight when they be like, oh, we sold the last copy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what
You
I'm
know what I'm
saying?
saying?
And
Yeah.
it's
All
like,
you
no
wanted to
problem.
see,
I'm
and
about to tear your damn store up.
Yeah,
Right.
and all you wanted to see, like she said, was you wanted to see the lyrics, you wanted to see the pictures,
Right.
you wanted an
Yeah.
inside of the
Yeah.
artist's life, so you can get that much closer.
Closer.
But
Man, you
uh,
said that, man. You just
Yeah.
said that, bro.
and then to Recon's point, before I lose my train of thought, is a consumer nowadays, you're gonna buy what you love, and you're gonna buy what you want until you come across something else.
Mhm.
It's not like so these other artists. If like for us in here, we gonna search out the artists we used to love and the ones that kind of make some relevant sense. But it's so wide now, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best thing
It's
to
so
know
wide.
for young Enzo, the best thing for you to know about hip hop that's going to take you a long way, is remember this, bruh. And I heard this from a 5%er a long time ago. He said, hip hop is the love letter, and the beat is the envelope you ship it off in.
Mm.
Word.
They go
Mhm.
hand in hand.
Love that.
And if you're gonna receive a message, that's how you're gonna receive it.
I love that.
And if that
Yeah.
letter has ill intent, it's gonna fuck you up for the rest of your life.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
And that's why
'Cause
they say
'cause
to make sure to be careful about your diet. You know what I'm saying? Your diet's not just what you eat, it's what you watch, it's what you hear. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm. It's what
it-
you feed in your soul.
exactly. And if it got intent, if it got the intentions are evil vibes, then it's going to affect you. And people think it's like, oh, it's just music. Oh, it's just, and like, it's not just
it's
music.
not.
It's
It's
like
not.
we live
not.
in a world
that
of
alchemy.
frequency, vibration.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
It's the
saying? So
vibe.
like, you ever seen those experiments with the water, and they be like, oh, speak positive to the water, and how
Yeah.
how it turns
Mhm.
different, and like the
Yeah.
crystals, it crystallizes different
Molecules,
when it's
yeah.
positive and it's negative. It's the same thing. You got to be
Just
careful because
watch.
that tongue is
And-
is powerful.
Ooh, and see, T-Sketch, look, the thing is people, they sleeping. Here we go, Rico. Here we go, guys. And what percentage of our body is water?
71%.
That's what I'm
Cymatics.
saying.
That's the cymatics you was talking about. T.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
telling you.
Mhm.
Let's go.
Your
Trap
cells
rap,
here.
tracking it there. See,
We
look,
were
and
quick to address
young
this,
Enzo, man, we about to school you, brother.
So let me start here before
And I'm all here to listen.
I'm gonna lose the chat over here real quick. Let me say what's up to some people in the chat over here. First of all, 005 Dynasty.
Oh, what's
He
up,
said,
brother, man? I wish you were up in
talking
here,
about
man.
a question earlier. Recons, the market is controlled by content creators. The companies use the content creators to move hip hop in the direction they want it as.
Yeah,
See,
that's
controlling
probably
the
about
masses, yeah.
that's probably
so-
about 60%
Facts.
accurate. Yeah, I say 60% of that is true. And then the corporations, they probably have the rest of that. And you know, 05 Dynasty, my brother, I wish you were up in here. And I got to tell you something, man. Absolutely, man. Between the content creators and those corporations, man, they got some nefarious planning going on, brother.
Gatekeepers.
Listen,
Yeah.
them labels are heavily invested into the prison system.
Yes, they
Oh
are.
hell yeah! The state system,
Prison
The social
system,
system.
the
and
social system.
Yeah, everything, everything.
and,
Everything.
But it's
pharmaceuticals,
so
the whole
easy
deal.
to pump them in when the kids are
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna be like my favorite rapper. I'm gonna have guns and drugs. I'm gonna be in the
100%
trap
correct.
house, and then they in the
Yup.
mansion
Yep.
chilling.
Yeah,
They not in the
that's
hood.
it, yeah, crazy.
not
Don't
in the
forget
hood.
the fashion industry as well.
Yep,
Because
the
they
fashion
actually
Yeah.
industry
good at
too.
that.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yup.
Yeah,
they're
so
all
like-
connected.
Oh,
Holly
Oh.
Weird, all of that.
your
Yeah.
papa wants to fight me over
Hey.
tacos.
Enzo,
Oh.
Hey, you know, I
listen,
had this
Fighting
conversation
words.
with Destructo, not to derail, as you know, or whatever. I was in Curtis King's chat. We were talking about tacos or whatever. You know, being from the Southwest, you know, Mexico, you know, all that other stuff. You know, like trying to throw this at me. You know, Destructo too. You know, I'm at both of you guys. I still stand by my statement. AZ over California tacos all day. They have better Mexican
Yeah.
food. You can say
Closer
what
to
you
the-
want.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Hey,
stand
man.
by my story.
King
Hey,
Taco, bruh. King.
let me tell you something. They're viral beats. I don't know if that's really that accurate because if you think about it,
Go hang out in Phoenix for
California
a couple of days,
is
and you'll see it.
California is Mexico.
I will say
word.
so is Arizona. So is
Yeah.
Arizona, and in Phoenix, where I grew up, there was a taco like everywhere. It's all Mexican food everywhere. When I went to California one time, I went to a taco place. They were like, "Yo, you probably don't got shit like this where you're at." I'm like, "What are you talking about? We got one on every corner. We got way more." I
It's
just
like
drive
Taco
out of my way
Cabeza
to go out of
340.
here.
So that
Taco
means you're
truck on
gonna
every
host
corner.
a taco battle or something.
Destructive.
taco battle.
Hey, y'all, hey, look, y'all don't
You
want to
know,
go there with
Tucson be
cheesecake.
fucking up on their Mexican
That
food
girl
on the
don't
fly.
just look that girl don't just cook with beats, man. She actually
Yeah.
cook
If-
with
if I may-
fire, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
never
y'all
had
gotta
a
be
taco
aware.
before.
You never
Oh,
had a
you should-
taco?
you
What?
should-
Last time this week.
You gotta do that immediately.
So we about to
That-
come
that
to
should be the next
Sweden,
thing you
and we
do.
all gonna cook tacos for you, man.
Apollo, build this
You're
motherfucker
Yeah,
a taco,
You're gonna
would
lay
you?
out all the ingredients.
Hey,
see what
guys,
you can
I gotta-
obtain there, and then be
Who-
like, okay,
where
what
you
can
going? Where
you
you
get
going,
right there
Hanzo?
where you're at? Get all these ingredients together.
Hold
We're
on,
gonna-
hold on,
we're gonna have you
guys.
make
Hang on,
your own
Hanzo's saying
I
something.
gotta run something up to my mom real quick. It'll be about 10 minutes. Should I just stay in here or should I leave?
Yeah, stay in.
Yeah,
All
Hanzo.
right,
Stay
I'll be
in
right
there,
Shit
back,
on
man.
guys.
mute, my boy.
Yeah.
And before we have to bounce out, I'm gonna say one thing really, really quick.
Yeah,
that
we
I've
only
been-
got a couple of minutes.
that I've been dying to say, and I've been dying to know what you guys think. And I would stay up at night just wondering because I was just like, oh, it's got to be how many unheard bars that never made it to the ears of the public in ciphers back in the day that was absolute fire that you'll never like. Can we honestly say that there's some bars that are left in the universe right now that was so probably badass that we would never ever hear them?
I could tell you right now,
Man.
I have rocked parties with thousands of people, you know, at a time, and really have moved crowds in ways that I never thought me at 16, 17 years old would be able to do. None of that shit was recorded ever. We used to put up the turntables every weekend, 4 of them, 2x4s, bust out the cakes. We're the biggest party crew in Phoenix, in Arizona, you know, and crazy times. And a lot of that shit, most of it, not
Mhm,
recorded at all. I have
Damn.
some tapes out there circulating that people
Yeah.
have that I'll never see or hear.
Mhm.
Some stuff may resurface later on, but as far as video, maybe one or two people have some clips here and there of me rapping at an after party to a rave, and that's it. Out of all those thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of hours, however many hours you could get, it was just so many. I mean, it was hours at a time every night for, a whole spell of my life. So yeah,
Yeah.
I know directly what you're talking about here because I got some stuff. I'm like, man, if I could only remember that shit that I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
in
yeah.
that
Right.
moment.
I think that's like
I
a-
like it. Go ahead, T Sketch.
I think that's like for me, it's a bucket list type of thing because it's like, don't let my music die in the graveyard with me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So,
No
Right.
doubt. No doubt.
One of the reasons why I exist on here, and a lot of us do.
exactly.
for
And
Right.
and I
it's on
think
this
that's the
platform,
beauty
yeah.
of being able to actually be independent now, like having these platforms that we didn't have in the 90s, to where it don't matter if I'm signed or not. I could still drop my music. If I want to record right now and drop a 16, I can, and just put it out there, and it'll just go out in the universe. Whether it's one
And do
person,
what it's gonna
10
do.
people, it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Versus nobody hearing anything ever and not having anything
right.
to.
But then also the whole conversation of, oh, you're too old, you need to stop rapping. It's like, bro, like hip hop has grown with. I grew up with hip hop, so you expect me to stop it just because I'm older? Like hell no.
Right, right,
Like
right.
I got
what,
wisdom.
so what are we supposed to get knitting needles out? What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. I got
Yeah,
wisdom, I got
yeah.
experience, but I
Yes,
think it's the
yes,
dumbest
we
shit
are,
because
bro.
no other genre on this earth worries about people's age. Everybody else is touring, doing their
It's
thing.
Right,
crazy,
right, right,
ain't it?
right.
It's
Every
the
form of
only
music
one.
except hip hop,
mutually
right?
exclusive to hip hop.
That's what I'm
ain't
saying.
it?
And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you gotta be hip, you gotta be young. It's like, everybody grows old. So let's get over that. Like,
Yep.
Right,
y'all act like you
exactly.
old, you're gonna be young
That
forever.
doesn't mean like you done lost everything that's in here.
Right. And
It
I,
don't mean
and I
that you
feel like
lost
with age
everything
it gets
that's in
better.
here.
You got
Yeah,
better
exactly.
things to
You-
spit
you're
about.
seasoned.
Now you're
Right.
speaking
Seasoned,
from
man.
experience. And for those of us that choose to heal from our trauma, let's not, you know what I'm saying? Because we got a lot of trauma that we're not
All
talking
the
about.
90s trauma.
Listen,
You know,
trauma in
but
all kinds of
I want
ways.
to tell you something. I liken this to sports, right, guys? Like, so think about this where we all grew up. Like, there have been parks where we grew up, and you see, like, let's say ball players. Let's just use basketball as an example. How many times have you gone to the ballpark and saw a young brother, a young sister balling out? Like, I mean, like superstar shit going on, right? Out in the
Too
park,
many
right?
times in my day. Yeah.
Right? Exactly, right? And the same thing is applies to hip hop. How many times it's, and I'm, like in LA, wherever you're at, Arizona, Sweden, you've gone to places, New York, and you've seen people freestyling and rapping, and you're like blown away by their freestyles. Like some of these people are so freaking talented. They will never be signed to a label.
Mm-mm.
They will never be an artist. They will never be known. They will never become famous, never rich, none of those things. And they'll only be known by you and a small crew of people that saw them get down. You guys, now y'all know this to be true. Recon, T-Sketch, riding those trains in New York. How many times have we seen dudes just banging out a beat on the subway
All day.
and then rapping to that? I mean, just rapping, and killing this shit.
Yeah,
for
even
like
in school
30 minutes straight on a train ride.
and the
30 minutes
lunchroom.
straight
They're the most
freestyle.
talented.
Just
the
most talented.
insane
Look,
talent, right?
look. I hate to be rude, but I got to get
Yeah,
to
we
a
gotta
client's
go.
house.
Oh man, that's all
Uh,
good.
To
You guys
take
are
care
good.
of
Don't worry about it. I
personal
appreciate you guys
finances.
coming through.
Yeah,
for
y'all,
sure.
Yeah.
y'all about to get under
Um,
those horses, man.
Yeah. I
All
got
right,
to
all right.
do evaluations on them. But look, check this out. Enzo, Viro,
Yes, sir.
get me in touch with Enzo. Give me the link or something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to
He's in
cop
our
that
Discord.
now.
He's in the Viral Beats Discord. He's a channel member. He's been supportive of this channel since the very
Yeah.
beginning. So,
Enzo,
like,
make
okay.
sure you send
It's
me
all
an
in the
email,
place.
Yeah,
brother.
so I want to get over there and check that out.
Definitely.
T Sketch yesterday when we jumped in and we essentially came in as a mob. Look, every
I
beat
looked
I
down and I was
heard,
like, "Oh shit, everybody's in here. Cool."
every beat I heard, simply reminded me of old artists like Big L and KRS-One,
Ja
and
Rule, the damage.
Black Moon, and
yeah.
so
I mean,
stay on that path because it resonates with a lot of people you don't even think is even listening, and the ones who are on their way to your channel
that's
they
word.
ain't even there yet.
Yeah, I
So-
can't even really listen to T-Sket's music too much,
Yeah.
guys, because when I go on her channel, I saw listener making beats. I be feeling dirty. I gotta go shower
Yo,
like
yo,
right
I
after.
got in there.
Cause girl, you filthy with it. You
I
filthy.
got in there and I was like, God damn,
Just,
the beat
ooh,
is nasty, nigga.
ooh.
All we need is bars.
You know what
bruh.
I'm saying? And she got bars too, y'all. Just so you know.
Yeah,
she got
oh, I
bars.
know. And
got
she was doing her
bars.
little ad
Me and T Skid's gonna be like,
and she was throwing in the voice samples and chopping that. I'm like, well, shit. It just took me back to the 90s. And
yeah,
for me personally, that's my style of hip hop.
Yeah.
That's hip
Absolutely.
hop to me. Anything else you can find in the thrift shop, it's not going to elevate my chakras and take me forward in life. I don't go backwards.
Yeah.
So if
yeah, I
I
think
hear
we
it-
all there with you, man.
so if I hear anything of that's negative and that don't vibe with me,
Yeah.
it's trash. And I don't care what
Absolutely.
anybody, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all that shit is trash to me. What's hip hop is what's gonna make me a better person, treat my wife better, treat my kids better, make my
Yep.
life better, treat the man and woman or whatever in front of me
Yeah.
with respect and hold on to generational wealth and love the music and love the culture. If it ain't saying that, it's bullshit to me. And that's gonna be what it is.
Yeah, my bottom
Recon,
line is elevation. That's it.
elevation.
That's it.
I gotta go higher. I can't go backwards in life. Recon,
Word up.
you and I did a
That reminds me of that Zionite track.
fantastic rendition of a hip hop beat when it's going into the future. So y'all got to check that joint out. Enzo, I'm gonna get in on you. Viral Beats, thank you. I want to do this again when I got time. So let's stay in
Yeah,
contact.
no
Oh, we'll
doubt.
be
We're
doing
gonna do
another
this.
one for
We're gonna do
sure.
quite a few.
Okay.
yeah.
And then I know Apollo is gone, but the only reason why I'm a Apollo fan is because of the exact same thing y'all was talking about. That man's music makes you think of the 80s. It makes you think of the 90s. It makes you think of the 70s. And he's always taking me
Yeah.
back to my past. Anybody who could take me back to my past when times was good for me is a solid artist. And
No doubt.
everybody in chat, thank y'all for showing up. I know a lot of you guys are artists. I was watching that. Some of the things Eternian was saying, that's my boy too, because he on some different shit too. But hey, it was nice to be here. I love you all. We will be,
Love
you
you, too,
know,
brothers.
we'll be
Salute.
snooping around the channels for sure. I'm glad we in contact. Thank you to Viral Beats for making this shit happen because he always in my ear. Go look at this artist. Go look at that artist. That man is literally the human link to everything.
he's
So-
not the hidden link, but he's the
My
human
last
link.
live over here.
You are
making
the
it count.
strongest link.
yeah.
But Viral is very passionate about hip hop, and I love that man for that. He's always supported us. I mean, when he say he gonna support somebody, Viral Beats don't just show up for 5 minutes and be like, "Go fuck yourself." Viral Beats has
I'm
a
in for
very
the duration, folks.
he has a very long attention span, and he will park his ass somewhere and he will represent you.
And all I gotta say is, before this dude goes on and on and on, taking all the limelight.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
This
brother.
nigga don't know how to shut up. But look,
Man, you
look
see
here.
how it is with
The best thing
twins?
about
Those
the best thing about
are my
twins
brothers.
is
Those are my
he
brothers.
said everything that I wanted to say. So I'm gonna-
Goddamn,
Somebody
goddamn,
else
goddamn.
with
He
you.
used your side of the brain.
He's like,
that
ditto.
shit on the nail. Look, he hit that shit
And
right
I'm-
on the nail.
Look, and both of y'all stop
yeah, just give
using
him a
both
Dr.
sides
Dre's
of my
hell yeah,
brain.
get the fuck out of here.
Hey, son. I don't know if
Yes,
they
sir.
believe us, but we really triplets, and y'all gonna find out one day.
You know what I'm saying? Man, they don't, man, wait till y'all see. Wait till y'all see. We got
All right.
papers, y'all. We got papers.
We got papers. We got papers.
AKC in this motherfucker.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
look.
Pure bread, bro.
Peace to the gods and nerds.
All
Peace
right.
to the gods and earth.
Catch y'all
Peace,
later.
peace.
Peace. Yep.
Take care.
Word is bond.
Yo, that's
And
dope.
that's all love right
Son.
there. That's family.
Yeah, it's dope, and this is the thing, like the world of hip hop that connects us all. You know, I didn't think meeting these guys here at Symptoms of Reality that they even had any kind of inclination towards hip hop in any way, shape, or form. Like I didn't throw any judgments at it, but like once you make that discovery, just kind of like with Apollo over here, you know, you figure it out and you're just like, oh yeah, we having that conversation too. You know, it's like we all known each other for years, and like literally a lot of us have known each other for years. I've known T Sketch for years. I was a little bit later to her channel, but like it's already been like 2.5, 3 years. You know, Sun is same deal. You know what I mean? Kriak's been on here since for a minute. You know, like we're going on years of these established friendships and relationships here on YouTube, and we're developing new ones. And a lot of it is through the guise of not only music but hip hop in general. And to answer your question that you were saying earlier, Recon, about the way that the perception of reality is as far as things go, and the way that it's being received by not only the general public but the people on here, the people out here who are checking for music in a real way. I think for the most part they're checking here on these platforms, like here on YouTube. We're finding out that, hey, and I'm just discovering this myself too. A lot of the artists that I grew up with and shit, even with Redman, I subscribed to his channel because I realized he's active on his own music channel, and I said, yo, that's fire, and he loved it. So like it's weird to just kind of connect these dots in a way that we haven't been able to in the past. And now that we have this convergence of technology that is kind of did this explosion of social media bullshit, and we're kind of winding down and narrowing the focus to, okay, what do we really want out of these platforms? And I think the music people are finding the music people, and the hip hoppers are finding the hip hoppers. And I think people who had these judgments on hip hop before are starting to lighten those judgments a little way, the same way that like my mom's generation really hated gangster rap or whatever, but connecting these dots to these records and stuff like that, realizing sonically speaking, you're talking the same equipment and synthesizers and all that, like you can enjoy it the same if you could get over the way that we talk, because we're all rough around the edges because we grew up hard, for the most part. And I think people are checking for hip hop. People are checking for real authenticity in music, and this time period is a great time to be working on hip hop and talking about hip hop and reflecting the culture in a real meaningful way, all elements considered, and all subgenres considered as well. So yeah, I really think that's where things are at here, Recon, with the way that people are checking for music and have the ability to. I think people are realizing that streaming services are not the move and aren't really paying people, so their favorite artist is getting out there.
Oh, definitely not.
I
more.
think
like
who's going?
recalling what Son said earlier of these unknown rappers who you can find in this like a metro station, like spitting bars, and sometimes when they go viral, they change immediately because they want to follow the trend so they
Right,
can make
right.
fast money, right?
Gotta try to
And
recreate.
yeah, exactly. So and now like the general population, like who are into what they call hip hop today, want quantity over quality. So
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
one of like
You're right. You're
so
right, and
if it,
it's sad too because you remember them when they were just doing their thing, like really doing their thing, and you're like, wait a minute, what is this? Like, this is not the guy or gal that I heard, like in the subway, in the metro. They was killing it in the metro.
And I think
But
it's
I
dope that people are making whole YouTube channels based on doing that live performance thing. So go ahead,
Yeah,
T Sketch. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I think it just speaks to the shift of
yeah.
where the planet is, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And how the consciousness
Peace.
of the planet is like
Here we
more
go.
people
Let's
are
go.
being awakened, you know what I'm saying? Like on
Man.
some real shit, not the, oh, I'm just woke and I see them work. Like not the fake woke, like the actual, like you're seeking out knowledge of self. You're seeking out how to grow and heal spiritually, making
Which is
sure
where
that
woke
you're
came from. Which is where Erica
right.
Badu said it.
But
Like,
that's what I'm
no,
saying.
this is woke.
Your
And they're
mental
trying to make
health
it.
is very important. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like what I think is because the industry doesn't make it profitable to have substance in your music, because if they did, you best believe they'd be like, yo, I got to put this message in this, you know what I'm saying? Like they would care about it, but like the money is how ignorant can you get? How much can you dumb it down to the point where you're leading people down to the hellfire? You know what I'm saying? Figuratively speaking, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all about where you are as far as like your awareness. And I think that's to answer Recon's thing. It's like, it's about where is your awareness at? What frequency are you tuned into? And that's what you're going to seek out. Because when, you know, how I know you said that, oh, you know, that whole hip hop is dead, but like, was it really ever dead, or was it hidden? Was it, because it was still, because the underground was still there. You just have to you got to find it. You know what I'm saying? And now it's even doper because we have the internet. Now, to me, I've always said the internet is a gift and a curse. Why? Because you could use it for positive and negative. You know what I'm saying? But because we have the internet, somebody like me in the Midwest can connect with somebody like Enzo, who's in the UK, right? So like, this is what I'm saying. So like, so now that we have the platforms, now it's, oh,
Time to
well,
use
if you
them.
have a platform, now we got to control what you're saying. That's the thing. It was always the control of,
Pressing content.
that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
your message is too positive and you're bringing unity, get the fuck up out of here with that. They don't want that.
You should have seen the way that they used to kill my mental health videos because we're a music channel over here, and the algorithm would kill them dead as hell. You know, the 40 views or something when I was out here getting 200-300 off of my stuff and just not showing it the same way that they're trying to keep me away from Creax over here and the Enzo's content over here. They're trying to, you know, even though I'm subscribed and he's a channel member and like we have this connection, the algorithm's like, I'm still not going to tell you that he's live streaming because he's not active as you are. And I'm
Right.
just like, but like we're still connected in this way, the same way that they're like, yo, we're not going to connect you to Ben Jordan or Venus Theory, even though you like know them and have affiliate links and like, you know, like are really like doing this because you love it or whatever. None of that matters because the suppression algorithms do what they do, especially when it comes to that positivity. You know, you got to exist within that genre in order to exist for the algorithms to there, because there is a positive genre out there and a whole thing, but that is YouTube's control, and the algorithms, just like these other streaming platforms, are the same way, the way that they control.
And that's why you have to have your own platform, because it's like YouTube's cool, but when you have your website, now you have your email list, and now if their websites go down, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, you know, Facebook, it don't matter. You could still get to your people. You know what I'm saying? Because at any given time, everybody's hype about these followers, but they could pull them from you. What you gonna do then? If you don't have those people in your email list, how you gonna contact them? How
Yeah,
you
it's
gonna
true,
speak
man.
to them? You know what
How
I'm
many
saying?
channels have we seen fall over the years on YouTube that had a huge following, had a huge momentum, and then all of a sudden, not only it's not like they just stopped doing content, their channel was deleted and all their stuff was
Yeah,
removed.
dead stick. Yeah.
And,
So yeah, you've definitely got to build your own networks.
But also,
But Recon,
Go ahead.
come on, man. I just see Recon I see the wheels turning.
Turning.
Recon.
Let's do
Come
it.
on, man. Come on. I can hear you thinking, brother.
I'm just listening to what everybody's saying. I'm very appreciative of what T Sketch is saying over here about this, you know, consciousness and such.
Yeah, you know, and isn't it funny how many people they don't even want to go to that place? And see, Enzo, like I hope we can really encourage you right now, young brother, to really like step into that whole aspect of it about being conscious, about being truly having an intellect that is awake, and not to fall into the trap and just think, oh, because you know my age group, people think my age group is this, or think that we belong only in this or that. You know, never allow yourself to get put in any kind of box. Okay, man, seriously.
Yes,
Allow
sir.
yourself to elevate and grow way beyond that. Because look, I'm gonna speak for myself because I'm the oldest person here. You're the future, man. Okay. You are absolutely our future. You are our legacy.
For sure.
So we need you, man. And we need you to you know to run forward and run your best race, man.
and there always has to be a bridge between the young and the old. It should be each one teach one. We could both learn from each
Yep.
other. It shouldn't be the, oh, you old head, oh, you youngin. Like
right.
it's so stupid,
It's so
you know.
weird.
The
It's
divi-
weird,
but it's
especially with Gen X. We're like, what are you guys
Yeah,
arguing?
we should be
but that's the
together.
division. You got to think about it. It's always been, when it
Yeah.
comes to like the beginning of time, it's all about divide and conquer because you can control people that way. That's the
Yeah.
only way to control people. Put them in fear, and then they will not do not question.
Correct.
Just follow. Don't question. I'm gonna tell you how to sit, stand, speak. You know what I'm saying? Sleep, eat, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
There
like
you go. There's your
Drink.
placism.
That's
your
what I'm saying.
placism right there, Enzo. they trying to say like the authority or the people that believe they're in control. And brother Viral, T Sketch, Recon, you already know, we know they're not in control, not really.
Yeah. 'Cause
Like, you
in
know,
order
if
they'd
you're
have to
if you're
figure out and
really
be able to
aware,
replicate the success of these
yeah,
organic moments and movements.
They have control of the
exactly. If
3D,
you're aware,
Oh
we,
shit,
we
you made it
really
this
do have control
popular?
of the frequency.
Hey, we'll participate now.
the
Yeah.
3D maybe.
That's what they do.
So Enzo, yeah, you are our legacy, brother. You are our legacy, man.
For sure.
And I knew I was OG. Look, when I started having, so once I passed 50, right? That's when they consider you OG, right? And I knew I actually became OG, y'all. Here's how I knew it. And everybody who's watching on the internet knows this too. Once you got young dudes in their 30s call you OG and you didn't prompt them to call you OG.
No. Yo, but
Okay?
check this out.
You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't even prompt you. You didn't prompt them rather, to say that. They was just like, yo, OG, peep game. I'm like, oh man. I said, this is, it went from uncle, it went from unk
Yeah.
Unk,
to
yeah,
OG.
yeah, Unk's
Like, you know what
dead.
I'm saying? It went from unk to OG. And I was like, damn, that's crazy.
But that's the thing. When I was
Oh.
like 12 years old and, the OGs were 10 years older than that, I'm over here and you're about 10 years older than me. So,
Yeah, right. Well,
it's
yeah,
just a
right.
natural
Yeah.
course of the.
I mean,
Yo,
like, but
I
only at
call
your age.
Apollo
'Cause you were,
Hanzo's brother, his dad, on accident referred to him because he was the age and looked
so
exactly like my
so
dad did at the time.
so look, so
I
look,
was like, oh, whoops.
Viral, Recon, and T Sketch, you auntie, and y'all uncles, okay? Y'all are unks, you
I can't.
auntie, and I'm OG. And see, and you
Got the
you see
triple
young, and you young blood, you's a youngin', man. I mean, that's you still in there, man.
He
and
said,
which
"I'm
is all,
auntie."
and that's all
Done.
good.
Done.
Thank
So done.
So
Yeah, and that's kind of I mean, while we're on the whole isms thing and talking about the age thing, there is a conversation to be had about the limitations of our age and the fact that we do age to a certain point to where we can't do what we used to do as far as
yeah,
jumping
yeah.
around and doing flips on stage and everything. like
Exactly.
that.
We ain't doing
All
that.
that shit runs
That's not
its
happening.
course at a certain time.
Well, if
But
you take care of your body, you can.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah, there
yeah.
you go. There's
Hey,
there's
you
the
right, T
first
Sketch.
part of it.
You know what, T Sketch, you right.
Your
Like,
immunity comes from what you eat, brother.
if
Like your your stomach is your second brain.
absolutely,
And the trauma you put
if I
your
didn't
body
have,
through as well.
if I didn't have the injuries, right, like that I have from my time in service, in the military, I
You
tell
can
you,
still heal yourself
I
though.
would, yeah, exactly. And I wish I could do those backflips. I'm not, but look, I probably could get to that point. But I got to tell you something, T Sketch. I'm not sure I would trust myself doing a backflip anymore. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest because I'll mess around, do that backflip. Next minute, I'm calling you, T Sketch, talking about like, see, this is your fault, T Sketch. I'm in traction right now. It's your fault. I'm in the hospital. It's like,
So I wanted to. This is kind of on the list, and we have been knocking a bunch of these things that we've had on the list down in the conversations too.
Yeah.
But one thing that we really haven't, addressed, but kind of just touched down on in a little bit is the stuff that happened at the beginning and the stuff that kind of leads it to the current perspective of hip hop is the battle rap community. So, battle rap, people realize that, in the beginning it was just DJs. The MC was there to promote the DJ. That's why most of the songs were about the DJ. That's why it's DJ Jet,
absolutely, it was.
Fresh Prince. The DJ was the stage man. The MC was the co-conspirator, if you will, over here, the supporting role, and it just kind of flipped because people, you get a certain amount of humans together, but then you got people and their beefs and people in the neighborhood and stuff like that. People have problems. They got problems with each other. They start airing out those grievances live in effect. We see it here on YouTube. It's in public, with everything, every genre. It's not just music. It's not just hip hop, but with hip hop, we settle it in a very unique way when it comes down to it. And that unique way used to be the stepping stone that would get you into the industry and that would be the thing that you had to do. That's why we were in the battle rap community back in the mid 90s, because it's something that you had to do. It was a part of paying dues until it wasn't. So, but then there's been other resurgence because now there is this a cappella format of battle rap that has existed for the last 20 years or so. Here we are back to battles on record, reaching
Yeah,
full stadiums, and
yeah.
Kendrick,
It's kind of cool.
Drake,
This
and
is
reaching the
dope.
courtrooms now. Like,
Yeah,
holy
right,
shit.
right. I mean, that's
I know
crazy,
T
but
Sketch
that's
has a lot
is
to
dope.
say about this whole
Yeah,
thing, especially with Drake and his and
but
kind of like what you were saying earlier about the fighting money
yeah,
versus bars. You can't sit here and be like, "Yo, I got all this money, I made this bag." And what you
Has
got?
nothing to do
I
with
got
talent.
fucking
It has
you
bars,
got that. You got
asshole.
that
It has,
right.
Like,
it
You
has
got that
none.
right.
That's what I'm saying. And they always want to be like, oh, but you broke. What? We ain't talking about whose bank account is fatter.
yeah,
That's
well,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's a cop out.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to change the subject. Like, if we're
Ours
talking
ain't broke.
about, that's what I'm saying. If we're talking about the artistry, like your pen, right? So like I kind of like compare it to a singer, right? What is a singer's like power? Their voice, right?
absolutely.
Right? With hip hop, is yes, it's our voice, but it's our pen because of the
Heck yeah.
poetry, because of the way that you're riding the beat, you're in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like the different flows, and then you got the entendres and just
Tricky.
the metaphor. Like it's
See.
sick. So it's like, okay, yes, you want to be an actor. You want to be an actor, fine. You want to be an entertainer, fine. But you don't be coming with, oh, I'm the illest MC. Like, you cannot
Yeah,
be an
that's
MC if you
that's
do
a
not
crazy
write your
claim.
rhymes. I don't care what anybody says. We could talk about this all day. Like, that's where I
Talk
have my
about it.
pride
Let's
at.
go.
That's why I got a whole duffel bag full of rhymes
And
here, and ain't nobody ever written that shit. I wrote it.
It's
And I'm
decades
that's what
old.
I'm
This
saying.
is just my old rhyme.
Right.
This is just
right.
what I used to
And see,
dictate on
T-Sketch
paper.
and
I'm
Recon,
proud of that
so
though. That's the thing. That's where my pride
yeah,
is, and that's where my power's in my pen. So
no
like,
doubt,
I'm
no
not
doubt.
about to be like, oh, let me get
I
these
did that until I
ghostwriters.
did
Let me
this.
like.
Oh
I
no,
understand
no,
if you're
no,
trying to
no.
put a
Can't have a
hit song
ghostwriter.
together, and then you got 25 people on it. Like I get it, but like we're not talking about that. We're talking
No,
about, yo,
ain't
you
talking about
spit a
your friends
16,
either.
I
Yeah.
spit a 16, fine. There's different levels to it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I hate the
Hmm.
whole fake, oh, this is all me. This is all me. This is all...
Yeah,
No,
and
it's
it- and
not.
it's yeah,
It's
and
Yeah,
it's
not.
just
So
not.
get my
stop the
push-ups
cat.
in. It's like, what the fuck you mean
Yeah,
push-ups?
Yeah.
You're not even doing the
yeah.
exercise. You're
Like,
not doing the mental exercise.
You
You're
know
not doing
what's
the lyrical
crazy, y'all?
exercise.
Like,
You're just memorizing
so
lines. There's no push-ups involved.
exactly. Think about this, guys, in New York, and I know my New Yorkers know
Drake.
this is
Drake
true.
got us heated
This
over
is
here.
very,
That
very true.
guy.
Do you guys remember back in the day how it used to be? Okay, so when someone in the neighborhood now you'll like this, Enzo. Somebody in the neighborhood heard you could rhyme. They heard you were some lyricist. You were supposed to be dope. Man, I don't care if you are on the subway metro, you on the bus, you was in some neighborhood and you walking down the street and people heard about you and know who you are, they'd roll up on you. And I mean, like it'd be crazy, right? Like you be walking down the street and it'd be like 3, 4, 5 brothers like running up on you like they about to jump you. And they're like, yo, what's up, son? Yo, I heard you could spit, dog.
Yep.
And they're like, yo, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hear something. And I mean, and you already knew kind of in a way, like, okay, am I getting ready to get beat down if I don't spit something dope?
For real.
Like it was like that serious.
Yeah.
It was like that serious. And it was like, whoa, this is crazy.
I used to get
yo.
in
Like,
fights for having better bars than the opponent, and it used to happen more with me being a white boy or whatever.
yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say, man.
Yeah.
See, look, you had this wrong skin tone for like out rapping somebody else. Believe
Yeah.
me, this
It was a
Eminem
whole
was
thing in my
Eminem
life
was a
and career,
unique character in Detroit
Said,
for
how
doing that.
dare you?
Trust me.
You
Yeah, they were
know,
like, what?
yeah, because the thing is that when it comes to MCing and battle rap and stuff, you go on first impressions and shit. But when you know the look of somebody who has a problematic spirit, and you're like, yo, you probably have issues with your family, and like your dad left you, and like you'll say some shit and it'll land on accident, and you're like, whoops, but that's the thing about it. That's the difference between having an observationalist and somebody who really pays attention. There's a big difference between seeing what's on the surface and be like, oh, that white boy ain't shit, which was most of the time. But when I come through, you know, and I start bringing it out of them, and like, yo, you know, you can't get a square meal tonight, you know, you're gonna have to find a place to live, you know, and sometimes it's like, oh shit, I gotta go back to the shelter, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
not, and it's not specifically, you know, but when you can put something into perspective ahead of time. And one of the best times that I had, like, I had this battle that I did with somebody, and I had pre-planned that I was going to do this, and somewhere I was going to fit this line in, and I had this line, and I was talking about your raps are trash and all this shit. I had a piece of paper in my pocket crumbled up that literally said your raps in it, and it was, I threw it at him during the battle, and somebody picked it up and looked at it, and it said your raps, and these motherfuckers started passing around this piece of paper. Oh shit, this motherfucker threw me said your raps after telling him his raps are trash, and he put it on the paper. Like, it's shit like that,
Yeah, man, that's
like
fun, man.
that.
That's
But
fun.
yo,
That's fun.
that almost got me fucked up, but everybody in there knew the steez, and it was like, you know, in battle
Yeah.
situations, you know, you hit somebody in the chest and you get that feeling going, and it's just, you can't walk away from that if you're just like, oh shit. But if you're there to take the stage and grab the mic and be like, I've made this effort to grab this microphone, you could get the smoke
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So, you
But
know,
you better
a lot
bring
of
it.
people weren't prepared. They weren't prepared for
But
coming up
that's
there and
why
being like,
you
they're
do
like, oh,
not.
let me just fuck this white boy. Let me just fucking get it. You know what I mean? And nah, you know, like, it's harder to get through when you're in the 90s and you know that, like, yo, you have to get through here in order to pop, you know, because this is how you get on records. This is how your records is how you get, you know, put on, is how motherfuckers thought it. You know, I thought I was gonna, you know, be an MC and make millions of dollars and shit like that. I knocked off my
I mean, we
pedestal
all did.
first year.
We sure did. We
But
all
don't
did.
judge a
with
book
being
by its
young.
cover. That's the thing. You should.
Yeah.
You always will be disappointed when you judge a book by its cover. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's
Because
for
like
real.
hip hop is in the spirit, in the soul. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, oh well, you're this color, so you're not hip hop. It's like, really, bro?
Exactly.
Really? Like
Exactly.
it's all about
And who's
expression.
to tell who's not what? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, not only in hip hop, but in life in general. Like, we have these issues that are mutually exclusive to hip hop, but we also have these issues that are mostly like just the standard of living in humanity, such as you get 10 humans together, 2 of them are gonna fuck it up for everybody. You know, it's kind of like one of those things, you know, and that's kind of would segue to where we're at currently with the whole shit. A lot of this shit is starting to unravel about our heroes, and you know, we got the Diddy thing, we got Kanye in his clan outfit, we got, you know, African Bambaataa, you know, like, we have these
Yeah, it's
people
wild,
that
man.
have been not only immersed in the culture, but have dictated the narrative and held the keys to the industry. And now we're finding out, and a lot of us have known for a long time about Diddy, you know, before the scripting and scraping, you know, scrambling and scraping line on drink champs, you know what I mean? So all this
But
stuff
you know
coming
what they
out.
say, man, the more money you have, right? The more money you have, the more power you have. You know, and money's not gonna make you become somebody different.
Not
You know,
gonna
money's
change.
just gonna make
It
you
just-
more.
It just
more
show
of
you
what
who you are.
Yeah,
It
it's gonna make you
amplifies.
more of
Yeah,
what you
it
are.
amplifies who
Exactly,
you
and
are.
so-
That's the-
Absolutely.
exactly,
Yeah,
and so it's gonna just amplify
Good
it,
Rob
and
Taylor.
God forbid you get someone with that kind of money, power, authority in society, right? Becoming more of what they actually are, and imagine if they're bored at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got problems. We got problems heading our way.
If I may go off topic,
Yeah.
you know, regarding this of power, basically, I read a report that was that an experiment that happened in the late 70s in the United
Mhm.
States called the Stanford experiment,
Oh yeah.
where
Mhm.
they give a couple of random people off the street power to control you know prisoners, you know, however they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And some people decided, like, you know, well, they gave me all this power, so I should abuse this prisoner. And some people didn't actually abuse the prisoner, but you could see the difference between how evil a person can be, really be, if you give
Definitely.
them that absolution of power. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, man.
Money. Yeah, which is
Yeah, it's just
power.
yeah, and that's so
Right.
like these people like and it has no color either. By the way, you know we know that you know a lot of times when it comes down to you know if you because now we have to get into history, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about,
Before we
way,
get
way
into
back
history,
in the, go ahead,
can I make
brother
one
Recon.
thing? I have to head off of Zoom.
Yeah, me
So
too. Soon I got to get ready
this
to go as
was
well.
a really dope whole like production that you guys have put on here. So
This is just
Th-
a test run, homie.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
we're
say,
about to
like,
get in here, Recon. We're gonna
thanks
do
for
it
having
big
me.
time.
Hope you do some more. This is really
Yeah.
dope.
Appreciate you.
And yeah,
Later.
we want you. And hey, and next
Salute,
time,
Recon.
Recon, if you can, brother, thank you first of all for being here and for your insights and questions. But also, I wanted to just say too that we hope that you will please join us for more long-term ones too as well, long format discussions like this because
Word.
really love your presence and your mind, man. You're a beautiful soul, brother. So thank
Great
you so
info too,
much.
by the way. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. A lot of thanks and mutual whatevers.
Right on, right
Look
on.
who's back.
Gotcha.
Look who's
You have a
back.
good one, Rico.
Hey, there he is. Yep. All right. Yeah. And so, the thing about it is, if we look at things historically, Enzo, about that, is that now we get into, talking about like, okay, if you look at like, like ancient Europe, right?
Mm.
Who were the Europeans enslaving? Who were they killing? Each other.
Yep.
And then they had to, once they discovered that there were other cultures in the world, they decided, well, hey, now we can shift our attention over here to these folks. And, and then, it created this whole thing, like where we're talking about like, a very, very long term history, of, enslavement and things of that nature throughout history, right? When you put all that evil kind of stuff in the world, it tends to follow generation after generation
Baked
after
into the cake.
generation. Yeah, it's crazy how like, and it takes, so every time I hear people say, well, how come this certain demographic of people aren't over slavery or they aren't over that? Well, when you have, 300-400 years of history of that happening,
Yeah.
you can build into people the ability for them to hate themselves.
And you can't
Absolutely.
you can't just trace your
Yeah.
surname from the point of looking it up
Yeah.
online. You have to go through one agency and one agency only.
Right. And it's
There's
not
another
like
one
it's
that
just
does
going to
it, but like
disappear,
you have to go through something specific. Your name's not your name, and if your name's not your name, and you can't have claim
Yep.
to your name in this country, you deserve reparations. That's what
Absolutely.
I
And
say
there's
about
and there's
that.
a thing where, basically there's and so there's power, guys, in identity, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you lose your identity and the only thing you learn instead is things that deal with power and authority and things of that nature, right? You all of a sudden now it's selfishness and greed and all these things. And like you said, you find out when people have absolute power over other people, you'll be shocked at like the nice people they were, a half an hour ago. And now they're all of a sudden, they're hurting people in this environment, this prison system control thing they had,
This kind of strikes an important chord that I want to make sure that we get through here. And it's kind of like the thing that discourages us as artists from moving forward. And a lot of it as like, how come I haven't made it? How come I haven't made this money? How come I haven't at least made a comfortable living moving forward? And being like, there's always these things that cause people to quit doing music, when it comes down to that. And Inhibited says it here. It says, they want us in a coliseum watching and battling, like fighting each other and stuff like that, and yeah, but to the point, I kind of missed the point seeing his comment over here, but I don't know, I'll get back to it later, I'm sure. But yeah, I kind of wanted to go through some of the stuff as far as the isms as far as that goes, and the way that these algorithms have pushed and bled into these other platforms and doing this, because modern day is like how things are now and the way that things are looking on YouTube and or working on YouTube. And what I was going to say is, we have these moments of discouragement that we feel, why we haven't made it, and why we haven't been able to pursue our craft the way that we needed to. And most of the answer falls within the lines of because you needed a piece to move forward. There needed to be something that if you didn't have that piece in place, it would be problematic to your success. And I have just recently, in the past couple of years, have really come to light with this understanding that, damn, if I would have made it like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, trying to do what I'm doing now, it would have been problematic. I would have been fucked up. Like there would have been things that I would have done and thought, not that would have been made me a bad person or made me like, throwing Diddy parties and shit like that. Nothing to that extreme or anything like that. But there would be some discrepancies in my life that I wouldn't be able to take care of because I would be too busy in the shit house dealing with what I needed to. And once I shed myself of those pieces, I realized like, that barely happened at this stage of development while I'm just reaching into my 40s. A lot of it has to do with processing trauma and that kind of shit, but we have these moments of discouragement. But the reality of the situation is that a lot of us think about the end result without thinking about the journey there. And we're like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
it's because I needed to be this way. Because if I wasn't this way, I would cause a problem not only with myself, but the people around me. There would be a discrepancy. So once you shed yourself of those discrepancies, then that's when the time that you're really ready to go out there. But a lot of people, they don't want to do the hard work. They don't see the hard work that needs to be done, so it never gets done, or they just get too busy and they're just distracted because life is fucking hard. And it's even more difficult as a musician to get through when you have suppression algorithms, industry standards, systemic issues, all these isms that come through with it. And yeah,
Yeah.
ageism,
Yeah.
is a big part of it. When
For
Killer
sure.
Mike won those Grammys and was like, "Yo, you can't tell me that you were too old. You can't tell me that your music doesn't sound good enough. I'm over here at this age from a
Yeah.
historically black college. This is a big fucking deal for me." You
Yeah. Yeah. He did that. I mean,
Yeah,
he
And
did
then
that.
proceeded
And
to arrest him.
and then
yeah, right
proceeded,
after. Yeah,
yeah,
of course, of
fuck
course.
the
That was,
industry,
yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's
that
that
was
Tech
crazy.
Nine shit. That's it. Tech Nine entered the industry, and they gave him a bunch of shit because of his expression and his fucking long spiky hair, and they're like, "Yo, you're painting your face. Like, what the fuck is going on here?" And he's like, "You know what? Y'all racist as fuck. Fuck the industry. I'm gonna put my album for free, and I'm gonna make
Yeah.
commercials about it. So fuck you." And what happened? Charted, and since then,
And the
Strange
biggest
Music runs the
independent
gamut.
artist. The
Yeah, no
Biggest
biggest.
doubt.
independent
No
artist
doubt.
in the world.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And that,
In
but that's why they don't want you to do it, because now you're showing people, you're showing people to hack. You don't need the label, aka the glorified bank loan. The
And-
the record,
Exactly. That's
the
exactly
contracts
what
they
it
give
is.
you is a glorified
what it
bank loan.
is. That's
They
exactly
own
what
your
it is.
ass, but they don't tell you that. They make it. They dress it up all pretty, and they be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, look at this
Yeah.
house, look at this
Look at
car,
this
look at these
advance. Look at
chains,"
this
and
advance
then they're
that I
like,
gave you.
"Oh, your album didn't sell? Okay, cool. We own your ass, and we're gonna take all that back. Oh,
Yeah,
that
look,
food
look,
that
we
you
gonna
ate,
take it- we
the
gonna
the
take it
recording,
back.
all the recording in the
Yeah,
studio,
yeah.
all those hours, you got to pay for that. You
TLC
got to pay
says
for
it.
everything."
Yep.
He
Look,
says,
we're
"Fuck
gonna
the
take
paperwork.
it.
The
we
money
gonna-
made me overlook it." When he was talking
Yep.
shit about Dre and Ruthless.
Yeah, we're gonna
Fuck the
take it all
paperwork.
back.
The money made me overlook it.
Yeah, we're gonna take
See-
it all back. But we also, one thing, here's the thing, Enzo. This is crazy if you didn't know this about the music industry. After they give you your loan, then you got to pay back for all the record sales you didn't make from the projections,
Right.
Yep.
all the advertising
That
that they
they
put out there, all the
forced you to do.
production, yeah, all the production they paid
just
for in the
wicked,
studio.
man.
You got to recoup all
All
that
of
money
it.
for them.
All-
And if you don't, that means you are now in debt.
Absolutely. They
So
own
if you
your
in
ass.
crazy,
Yeah, they own your ass.
it's
So
Period.
right, yeah, and they own your masters. They own everything, right?
It's how
All-
stuff like
right, but-
this happens,
but
which
wait,
is how
this is
records
crazy,
like
though.
this come out.
Yeah,
in
and then it
2002.
gets even crazier. It gets even crazier because I personally know an artist who was rather famous, and he told me he got stuck in an 8-record deal,
Damn.
and for all 8 albums,
Dang.
he was in debt.
Telling you, bro.
Oh,
It was
no.
crazy. It took him literally, I think, 10 years to get out of that deal. 10 years of his life. Now, keep in mind, this individual, who I'm not going to say his name, he had hit records. And for 10 years straight, he was absolutely broke.
Damn.
Same.
He ain't the only
Same.
one. That's the thing. Like, there's
Only
very
one.
few actual successful
Right.
rappers
right.
out here. Like, it's
Yeah.
all smoke and mirrors. They make
Yep.
it seem like, oh yeah, I got this, I got that. Like, it's
Yeah,
all for
see
the
Busta
camera.
Rhymes' ridiculous chain that he's been wearing around last year. That whole thing that he was wearing
Right,
around
right.
the whole time was like, God damn.
I don't know.
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Like,
There's not that much that really touched that
all of
paper.
that.
It's all an
Yeah,
illusion.
where it's theirs, like where it's
Right.
actually their money.
Exactly.
So
know,
P, what's good? Welcome.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the problem, is that fake illusion is being sold over and over and over. So that's why most people now, they don't want to go into a trade. They're like, I want to be a rapper. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a rapper. It's like, okay, but do you know what it takes to be that and what that actually
Yeah.
is and what you have to
We'll
sacrifice?
find out how difficult it is, and they run the fuck away from it. They turn away either to do other genres or just stay out of music to begin with because they thought hip hop would be easy. What they don't realize is a lot more involved, a lot more difficult, a lot more suppressive than every other genre out there when it comes down to it. Before I forget this, I want to mention
Man,
one thing I
Casey,
did during this whole time
I'm
on
with you.
here. One of the most profound moments I've ever had in music was at the Gathering of the Juggalos in 2011 or 2010 it was. And Tech Nine was on the stage, right? The main stage. The biggest crowd of the gathering. You're talking that year, there were a lot, you know, like over 10,000 people there. It was
Mhm.
it was a pretty big, sizable crowd. Later on, we opened up for him when he was in Phoenix. And to be able to tell Tech in person, yo, that shit that you said at the gathering, when you said that you're going to make mainstream come to you, you're not going mainstream, they're going to come to us, is what you said. When you said that, it gave me goosebumps. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, you know. I said that shit gave me goosebumps. It's like, oh, I appreciate that. And like, this was after, you know, 3.5 years, 4 years of opening up for Tech and, you know, being, you know,
Man, that's funny too, because that sounds exactly like Tech too. The way you said that, he said, "Hey, I appreciate that." You know, like,
yo, he
yeah, that's
is
for real.
so humble from the very
Yeah.
beginning, from the first time that we opened up for him, and he's you know held backstage just to give us dap after we left and told us that you know our you know he liked our shit, you know, and just you know communicating with him afterwards, you know, and from the time that you know our last association was when he drove all the way down to the studio after the show, you know, and that same one that I was talking about earlier with the Tech 9040 thing that my wife was at. You know, she was with me at the studio. You know, they drove 45 minutes, 10 cars deep at 2 o'clock in the
That's
morning
dope.
to get to. You know, and that was the second
Word.
time Strange was over at the studio, which was a pyramid that I used to work at, and the studio was underneath the pyramid. You know, and that was a dope
And
situation. But like
I'm
those are
sorry to
hip hop.
interrupt, brothers, but and sister, but listen, I got to get ready to step out. I got another engagement I got to get to. But a mad respect and love to everybody on the call. Enzo,
Appreciate you.
please reach out to me, man. I definitely want to connect with you, man. And
Definitely.
you know, yeah, I'll man. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not kidding about you know, just like pulling up in Sweden on you, man. You gonna be like, yo, this dude's down the block for real.
Fuck, he really came
He's
up
like
here.
right down the
He
block.
really came up here
This
on
dude
that
is
shit,
this
didn't he?
dude
This
is literally
motherfucker.
down the street. You know, like yeah, that's me for real. And it's all love, you know. But definitely, guys, everybody who's in the various different chats too, you know, mad love and respect to all of you as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys again. Hopefully, we definitely will do this again, brother Viral. I know
Yeah.
we're gonna resume our, you know, our normal
We knocked
Sundays,
out
but
like the
we'll do.
entire list, all those things that I said.
Oh,
We gotta
dope,
hit this bullet point.
super
We
dope.
gotta hit this bullet point. Like we hit all of them just about. You know, I
Oh,
don't.
super dope,
I'm
super
looking at
dope.
them right now, and I don't see one here that we did not touch down on. I don't. You know, I mean,
So I'm gonna throw something out there real quick before I get off. So T Sketch, Enzo, brother Hanzo,
Sir.
I was thinking maybe what we can do, and we'll get recon, and we'll get the symptoms of reality back. Maybe we could do a crazy ass collabo song, and for all the rappers who actually rap, yo, we gonna get it, yo.
Hit him with the "We Are the World"
Let's
rap
jump.
song.
Yeah,
in
let's-
2025.
let's do some. Let's do some "We Are the World"
Y'all
type
the
shit for
motherfucker.
real
Yes,
about
cuz.
consciousness. You know what I mean?
I'm with it.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Jeez, guys,
I'm in it.
Appreciate
I'm
you,
in
son.
there.
Thanks for coming through on this
Yeah, no doubt.
episode of this show that is named after yourself on
I
this day that
appreciate
is
that,
named
y'all.
after the show.
I appreciate that.
That's
I
that
don't even
universal
know how
tie-in
it got.
I will hope that he's here. It's called
I don't even know
Sundays.
how it became. You know,
Can't have an
Sundays with
episode of
Sun,
Sundays
you know?
without I Am the One Son.
You know, that is trippy, and I always love Viral for that, man. My man,
Episode
he
13,
did
God damn
that.
it.
Hey, we did. Lucky number 13. That's what's up.
And it's a portal day too.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, for real.
25,
and
25,
T-
25, 25.
Yes, ma'am. T-Sketch, I got to tell you something. You're going to have to help me because
Love that.
I got to put some shelves behind me, and I think I'm gonna decorate that whole top of the wall right here with nothing but old school hip hop albums.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So
Dope.
you gotta help me
Yeah, that's
coordinate
dope.
because I know you got that eye. And
I'ma
Hanzo,
send
I
you-
need you to
I'ma
help me
send
set
you
up
your
my,
first
my
record. I'ma
stuff
send you
hardware
something.
wise, man.
Hey,
Because
man.
as you can see, it look like a hot mess in here, don't it? Look.
Oh, that looks fine.
It looked like a
Looks
hot mess.
fine.
It's all clean and organized. and
Apollo
shit.
looks
Get the
like his
fuck outta
wall
here.
looks like
Take
he's
care
in the
of your
same
family,
universe
son.
as me.
Yeah,
Right? Y'all
I'm
are
pretty
in the
sure.
same
I'm sure
galaxy.
it's actually the same district.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys. Hey, look,
All right, take care,
blessings to
man.
everybody. And hey, everybody, keep that high frequency, okay?
Hell
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
I'll talk
all
to y'all
day.
soon, all right?
Peace,
Peace
son.
out.
Yeah, bro. Take
All
care.
right, later,
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, and then there were 4, and it's crazy.
We in the
because,
square.
yeah. Now we back on. Here we go, lovely lady. This way. I gotta go this way. My homie's over here on the side of me.
But yeah,
Got Apollo over there in the corner. Yeah, I mean, we touched down on pretty much everything that we wanted to. We may have not got into the weeds as much as we would like to on other things, but that's what future conversations are for. One thing I was telling Son about, and it's something that I plan on doing with the channel, and I encourage not only everybody out there who's interested in hip hop, but you guys as well. I'm going to start doing a regular series on where to find hip hop, whether it be a cipher, the music, the records, the production tools, whatever it is, community organizing shit. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I think a big part of our contribution to hip hop here on the channel is going to be I mean, we're already doing kind of putting people on notice. This is where you find hip hop in these stories. A lot of it's within the records, within the resurgence of vinyl. So, hooray for that. That's dope as hell. Tyrone Sellers. Oh, now I could shout loud. Tyrone Sellers. See, that was smooth. Not loud.
Was good, Tyrone.
what's
Thanks, man.
good, Tyrone? It's your boy, man, from Sweden.
All together at once. Yeah.
Salute to the chat, man. I can't see the chat, but salute to y'all. I am streaming on my
that's right,
channel,
yeah.
but
That's what I gotta do. I gotta make it to where the chat pulls up on the screen when we have multiple people, so everybody could see the chat instead of just logging in through our phones and doing
yeah,
whatever.
man. We out here though. Hip hop is alive and well.
Oh yeah, and it's cool that you guys streamed from your channels and shit, and Creac's giving this behind the scenes and all this shit. We're over here talking this mess, and I think we're gonna start doing that, just showing people where to find hip hop, as we see it. I really appreciate you, Tyrone. Tyrone has been around since the earlier days too, and he's one of those friendships that we've known for years, going through it. It's crazy how this all works, and the hip hop tie-in is something to be said, about that. So does anybody have anything else they would like to add? Any conversations, that you want to add to the equation here? There's we're gonna have more.
What I say, what we need, Viral, the fact that female producers only make 6.5%, we gotta change that, bro.
Damn,
Yeah, I agree.
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know they're out there, you know what I'm saying? And salute to Sarah to Hill. There's a lot of the dope females that I see, but it's like
Sarah's
like
real dope.
we need to uplift, you know what I'm saying, the females, because the males been out here doing their thing, and it's no shade to them.
And
You know what
fucking
I'm
it
saying?
up too. Fucking
Yeah.
it up like men do. You know what I mean? Like we're out here, you know, we got these extreme situations and all that, you know, these parties and all that other shit, you know. It's like I know with people in power and all that other stuff, it's like I think it's starting to happen. Like people are taking notice. One of the artists that really surprised the hell out of me is Doechii,
Yeah.
and I
Yep.
really Tiny Desk concert is what brought me to her. You know, it's not that I don't listen to other people's music, and I've said this before. As a producer, as an MC, as an artist, you know, you get so bogged down in your own work, you don't really got time to listen to other things. And to that effect, for me personally or professionally, I don't want to be influenced by anybody's style, so I try to stay away as much as I could.
I
But
feel that.
there are a few artists and records and people that break through, and I always listen to my friends. And she's just one of those artists that broke through, and I was like,
Well, when you have Lauren Hill giving you your flowers, that's a big ass deal.
seeing her
For women, like listen, Lauren Hill is just, I don't care if she that one album I will play back and forth to this day. That is a class. She's saying some shit in that album. You know what I'm saying? And like her talent's out of here. So
the
like
beginning, like everything she's ever spit. you
everything.
know?
That's what I'm saying. So and that's one of my influences. So I think that there's a lot of cattiness when it comes to women. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, can we just cut the
It's
bullshit
that woman thing.
Yeah, can we
You
cut the
that
bullshit
Family Guy.
and
Find women
actually
fighting, wait,
uplift
wait,
each other?
Just
Like,
find women.
yeah,
They'll be
actually
fighting.
uplift each other. Don't be like smiling at somebody's face and then hating in the back. Like, if we
Yeah,
don't
don't be
vibe, that's
dissing
one
their
thing.
outfit and shit when they got bars that'll wrap circles around the fucking universe.
Yeah,
and,
and I don't want to. I
like,
don't want to force nothing. Like, if we don't vibe, that's what I'm saying. Everything has to be all right. Let's see. Let's be in the same space. Do we vibe? Do we? If we don't vibe, that's cool. But we ain't gotta hate each other. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. Is like the whole like we could agree to disagree type shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't like the whole like, oh, let's pity. It's like, yo, we have too much division in general as humans. You know what I'm saying? As a species, we have too much division, and that's all you see. And then it's like, oh, drama. Oh, they get mad views. Like just like if you and I beef viral, that'll go viral.
We make a thing
Pun
out of it,
intended.
like battle and like.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, if we make a whole production out of it too, like, oh shit, it's be Wild World of Sports and shit.
I'm
know?
telling
Think
you, and it's
think
like,
about it.
and then that's when you start wondering, like, okay, now we in the WWE of hip hop, where what's real and what's fake, because we all know that drama sells. So, like, are you really beefing, or you just beefing for the camera? Are you beefing for the bag? You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of drama, like even back in the days, like when okay, let's say the Jay-Z and Nas, right, beef, for example, right?
Yeah.
It was something that was really most of it was like either business or just straight up beefing, right? And today people don't do that no more. Like they don't offer their friend to make money out of it. They rather try to destroy the other person, even by using violence as well. Because look at 50 Cent, for example, right? There was this one interview he did where he offered Chamillionaire like by dissing him, but Chamillionaire never dissed him back.
Right.
And he was actually like, well, I offered this guy something, you know, if he would have like, you know, dissed me back, would have earned a lot of money together. But Chamillionaire didn't understood that because he wasn't writing, he wasn't doing the fake shit.
Right.
Right. So a lot of like this today for me is just mad weird, like, you know, especially with the rise of Joe, the early 2017 or 18,
Yeah.
like that, where they use violence, they shoot each other, and then they go and snitch on themselves, basically telling them
absolutely.
like, I killed you,
Yeah,
I
like
kill your
the
homie, what
Tekashi
you gonna do
6
about
9
it?
shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
all
like
yeah, that kind of shit.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's like it's spiral, because to the point where now, like, I like drill because I like the rhythms. My background is Caribbean, so I love like rhythm within rhythm. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, most of it is hella negative, and most of it,
Yeah.
you got babies killing babies out here. You know what I'm saying? And they don't care. And like you said, they'll live stream, they'll talk about it on the song. They'll be like, everybody snitching. No, you
Crazy.
self snitching.
Exposure.
Y'all
Yeah.
are snitching on yourselves.
But
You
that's the whole
know?
point of us being able to properly educate, but not only with that proper education, the right tools to have the power to be able to educate. So it's good that some of us in our generation and Gen X are starting to get the keys to be able to dictate some of these narratives. And hopefully, with all this, awareness of the way that things have existed in this industry for so long, that we'll be able to write new rules and do certain things. To your point, T Sketch, I would really love to see an all-female hip hop panel exist.
Absolutely.
And why we haven't had that yet, we've had, especially with this battle rap shit, like we've had zeitgeist after zeitgeist YouTuber, Screwface, Curtis King, shout out to the homies company, man. Like everybody's been doing their thing. And
Yep.
to borrow a phrase from him, it's all happening. Well, if this is all happening, where are the females at? There are a whole bunch of talented producers out here and females that are doing their thing, yourself included. Like not only should we be bigging you guys up more, but like there should be a more connectivity space. And I think to your point, one of the problems with hip hop has been the entry being that battle culture. Like it's cool to have the competition, but I think we've taken it to a point. But to that point that it's been taken to, if it weren't for it being to that extreme of taking a boo boo in the desert, shout out to Daylight, all these years later, here we are. That was 2012. And here we are, 2025, and he's pulling 250 views after 5 hours doing a song, immersed in this.
Well, you bringing it back to the essence of hip hop. You know what I'm
Brings it
saying?
back.
And Kendrick was the catalyst to that. You know what I'm saying?
Bars,
So
people checking for hip hop again.
that's what I'm saying, and that's why it's beautiful. Like regardless of the fact, like they getting in there, and people are like, "Oh, where the bars at?" Well, they're here.
I need to get up in here. Where's
They're
my
here,
pen?
and also
When we hear
we
that
ain't
diss track
suing.
against it.
We ain't suing. We ain't doing none of that because
Yeah.
that don't even make sense. Because now you're gonna, if that actually shifts what people say, that's crazy. Like we have freedom of speech.
It
If you're
would
gonna
change
sit there and be
forever.
like, you can't say this in a rap, what the hell is the point, man?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is the point if you're gonna say, oh, well, we're gonna censor this and we're gonna, like, here we go with the fucking control shit. Excuse my language, but it's
Cool work my language on here.
yeah, it's sickening because it's like now it's a whole nother level of control. It's like, oh, okay, now you're stealing something else from our culture. Now you're like, oh, now we get to control the battle rap now. Now we
And
get to
see-
control what y'all say and what y'all talk about. Nah, man. Like, yo,
And
if you enter the battle, you know the deal. There's no
Yeah.
holds barred. Oh, well.
No
Oh,
rules on
well.
language. There's no rules on language in battle rap. And especially if you're talking about somebody's intricacies of who they are to the heart of it, because that's the whole point of it. It doesn't matter that you're saying something, whether or not it's true. The fact is, does it punch better? Because
Right.
if it does and those bars land better than the other, the person wins, whether it's truthful or not. The fact is, you have the right and the open space to say that kind of shit. And the minute these lawsuits start coming in, and as soon as that judgment is hit, and you can't say those things forevermore, our culture has changed. So, like, having that kind of popularity to where it's gone this far in the zeitgeist, they're trying to figure out what to do with it. But at the same time, still attempting to dictate the narrative the same way that they always have. The only way to shift that is by dictating the narrative, to grabbing the ball ourselves and running with it and just being like, yo, this is how we're going to set the rules here in place. But who's in charge for setting these rules? Those who are in charge of the everything, streaming platforms.
Well, that's the
you
thing.
know,
We need to not
Essentially-
relinquish power. That's the problem
That's
because
why
these
I'm not on
streaming
street planning.
platforms
That's why we got
are
rid of
like slavery.
Yeah.
They want to pay you cents on the dollar, some 0.003 cents, and talking about, oh, creative music is not hard. Just like that Suno CEO, that idiot talking about, oh, nobody wants to sit there and make music. Like, what the hell are you talking about, bruh? Like, we're creatives. How are you going to sit there and tell me that I don't want to sit and cook? Talk about, oh, most people don't want to spend the time to create
Why
music.
the fuck do I sit on your
What?
channel for 7.5 hours on a Saturday?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
seriously, like, most ain't most to most people. Like, motherfuckers don't know what most is and what most isn't. They just know their circle and what their perception of their reality of what the rest of humanity is. It's crazy.
Just like
The way they
Spotify
think
CEO
about-
too. Like they're
Yeah,
so
man, that big-headed-
far
yeah, and the amount of
removed.
salary he's taking this year.
That's what
and-
I'm saying. But you don't want to pay us? Talk about you got to get 1,000 streams before we even pay you?
Or it needs
Who
to
the
go
hell-
to the bigger artist first, or the industry and all that. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
not it, man. And then one more point. If it gets that far to where that lawsuit affects us, now you're gonna have to go into the hip hop dark web to the point where it's gonna be illegal to spit bars.
Yeah. How far are you going to tuck this culture?
Like
know,
we're
it-
gonna have to
it's been
hide
fucking-
to spit truth.
Yeah, it's already been tucked under the standard that you guys have set in the industry, and that's, how mumble rap and all that shit became popular, and how, all this stuff. It's cool because it comes full circle, and in the end, people are checking for hip hop and boom bap is in and all that other stuff, which means the education is coming through. People are starting to learn things and, going through it, but also the fight against it is real. And that's where AI comes in. We didn't even really touch down on that, but like the fight against our independence as musicians, not only that, but more so as hip hop artists, come from the AI stuff and the production tools that we make, which is why they're trying to get us away from sample-based production and all this other stuff, and creating problems with copyright law and all kinds of other anti-universal naturalist types of things that like are just forms of compartmentalizations that we've placed upon ourselves as far as the restrictions go. That's a human thing, not a universal truth of the spiritual realm or anything like that. And I think this fight is real, and I think this battle is is as much as we've lost battles, I think the war is being won. And I think this shift in narrative and perspective, with the whole battle rap stuff and everything that has come full circle with it, I think it's helping, and I really encourage anybody out there who embraces this culture to like be out there and embrace this culture in a real way and expose this culture to those who are less informed and make them realize like, hey, this is not just our music.
It's a way of life.
And it's the biggest genre that has existed in music, period.
Absolutely.
Since we started compartmentalizing genres, not just hip hop, but all the subgenres as well, you're talking about the biggest thing to ever exist.
Before I dip into sleep, I just have to say that like we in the music industry today, I think for me, from my perspective at least, is like a battlefield where every foot soldier trying to prove themselves to the
Yeah.
commanders and their captains, and these commanders captains are like your manager and the guy who owns like the studio or the company, the record label you're assigned to.
Yeah.
Basically try to do your best. So whatever they give you an order to do, you just go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter. As long as there's more quantity out in the field where we can consume, we the consumers are listening and they're earning money. That's what does matter to them. So
Yeah.
like in order like for like hip hop to be hip hop again, we need to cut like ties with these big industries. I'm talking about like on like a massive scale, because if we stop listening to this little that little this no this, like they won't be popular as they will be today. But today a lot of young people don't care about like speaking actual facts, like rhyming. It's just the vibe, something like vibe. Oh yeah, I hear this is so dope, man. Yeah, lean, sit this and that, like back
Well,
in the
that brings
days,
you
like,
to another mind state. That's why.
yeah, yeah, that's what, like back in the days, people were like rapping about trying to get out of the
And now they're
hood.
drug addicts.
Exactly. Now they're
yeah.
rapping about
And see, that's the thing about it. To your point, exactly. Like all this stuff, like people want to be healed with music. People want to get through their day. They want something that's going to make them feel less shitty. They're not trying to hear. And yeah, there's times where you call for aggressiveness and you got that aggressive song or whatever or feel to it. But in the end, they're looking for a profound experience that maybe not changed their life, but some people are looking for that too. It just ends up changing their life because they have that profound moment. Listen to it in the moment that they're having their shitty day, and it gets them through that shitty day. There, connection made.
Right.
These tools and these things and these industry standards of the way that things have systemically been around and existed have just been suppressive, of all that, and being able to, to break through, is something that, we all need to realize that genuine experience is what is most craved by the listener. So providing that experience is our duty as musicians, not just in hip hop, but in music in general. If we are going to take the initiative and go out there and do it, we have to do it in the right way. And that especially is true with hip hop music. And I think all these conversations and the stuff going on the way that it is, even the bad stuff and the Diddy parties and all that, we need to know exactly what needs to be fixed before we learn how to fix it. Even though we have our ideas now, what we're going to do once we get the keys, we still don't have the keys yet, not completely, but we will soon. And when we do, we have a chance to rewrite this whole thing. But in order to do that, we got to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, you got to, and you need information, because like, I think the basis of everything, like, for example, there's times that I like to listen to ratchet music. I don't care about the message at that point. I have my records that are hella ratchet and I like them, but like, I know the difference between, oh yeah, they saying this, they saying that, but I'm not out there like, yeah, I'm about to go be like that. I'm about to do. And that's the thing. I think that's the difference of the lack of information when a parent is letting their kids listen to something and they're like, okay, you're listening to this, but remember that at the base is entertainment, and what you're hearing, most likely 90% of it is not true. You know what I'm saying? So like, information is very important, like, and communication, so that everybody knows where we're at. We all have different moods. So of course we're going to listen to different kinds of music. You might be in a uplifting mood. You might be in I want to hear a message. I want to be motivated, or you might be sad. Somebody broke up with you. So you want to hear that breakup music, but I think it's the lack of information and also the blurring of what's real and what's not. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's time to unblur those lines.
Right. Because then you're like, because there's people that will,
Take care, Creax.
Hello, bro.
I see he's about to fall out on stream in front of all of us.
You saw me wrong.
That's my friend. Take care. About to blow up. Hey, man, it's good having you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting me back into, rapping and shit. You know what I mean? I knew I wasn't done. I just, trying to be a fool to myself.
But shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to Evira for having me. For though, I really appreciate you connecting me to really good people. I really learned a lot, just by being here today. And hopefully I can do this a lot more when I'm fully
awake.
Yeah, your camera fell too, by the way, when you said that. So it's perfect. Goes right in line with what you're saying.
Yeah.
What's up, Air Spider?
But yeah, man.
Salute to you, Enzo.
Shit.
Good to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you, man.
All right, cheers, man.
Peace.
So, speaking of Air Spider, and this is a good note to end it on over here. Thanks for being the homie that tells me that I got a boogie in my nose. like for real. Because, okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal with this record here, and I'll let you guys know here, and I'm doing this content on it here. When it comes to this, what I was just celebrating as picking up an obscure Biggie verse or whatever, this turns out, instead of 1993, which you would rightfully assume be the case, especially with Spliff Star and all them having the associations with Biggie and all them, that it was from that era. But it turns out in the end, there is a vocal tag on here that pointed it to 2002, where Spliff Star had taken this from a mixtape by DJ Vlad and DJ Dirty Harry, and it was pretty popular. It was a mixtape out there. It was where I heard this verse, because I heard that verse before, especially that Stretch Armstrong line, and I know that he said specific lines in other raps before, but the thing that creeps me out about the whole thing is I didn't even recognize the 50 Cent beat, because it was that What Up Gangsta, and it didn't even click with me after I got the copyright claim from YouTube that it was that. But also, I was thinking here, you know, a lot of those songs, you know, and a lot of beats were dictated by samples that came from other things. So maybe he sampled it from that record. The fact that they all had associations, you know, before, and then the tie-in and all that other stuff. It's just a crazy, crazy thing. But in the end, you know, it was after Biggie passed that it was put out and profited on. And for that reason alone is reason enough to pull it. But telling the full story instead of my bullshit celebration that I was taken down a peg by our friend Air Spider, who's been supportive of the channel since the very beginning, and you know, was working doing mixtapes. And I mentioned it during the beginning of this stream. He was the one who called me out on the boogie in my nose, and you know, we all had questions, you know, when it was stumping our friends from New York and we were just trying to figure it out. You know, I wasn't trying to figure it out, I was just celebrating the Biggie verse, and you guys are like, oh, that ain't right, you know. And it's like, I got a big old thing of content to go through on it, because it reflects the desperation in this industry, and especially during that era, which was the official mixtape era, because everybody was putting mixtapes of everything out during that time. No, you didn't take me down. You did the exact thing that you were required to do as a person in this culture. Not that you were supposed to do that or whatever, but it's what needed to happen, because if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have the information. I wouldn't be able to do the second video telling the truth. If you're going to represent hip hop, you got to represent it right. That means the story as it sits. Fuck the narrative, tell the story as it is, and what it was. And what it was is not what I thought it was, or not we thought it was, because the perception of reality, when you look at this record that says it's a flip mode record, ain't got shit to do with it. So I heard the conviction in your voice and knew it was something else. Yeah, you know, and for me, it was just celebrating the moment that, hey, this Biggie verse, you know, after he passed away, made its way to, you know, Vancouver, Washington out of all these years. But what I incorrectly, you know, and rightfully so, made the assumption of 1993 New York, you know, comes down to a lot more nefarious plot of sorts. And it is a very interesting story. So I appreciate you exposing me to that. It made me think twice about that Pharrell beat, which I was like, oh, that is a Pharrell beat. How the fuck did this shit exist, you know, way after Biggie died? Yeah, because that shit was hijacked and used as a promotional thing for oh my God. The story's crazy. The story's fucking crazy.
You know, beats
I'd
get
rather
hella
tell you rather
recycled.
than- Yo, and the thing is, here, yo, Air Spider says, I would rather tell you rather than a stranger. But this is the thing. You didn't just tell me. You provided links with details and even the discrepancies that you had on the information. Now, why the fuck and how the fuck this record even came about? You know, we figured it out. You know, this fool did some shady shit to try to get on before he fucking, you know, developed his solo career. And we're going to talk about it, because that shit's a hip hop exclusive thing. You know, even though records and mixtapes and all that other shit, you know, there's something about getting on, and something about the desperation when people hijack a verse, you know. And the thing that trips me out about is that Spliff Star, you know, and Flip Mode, they were associated with Biggie. They were in his video, in his first video. That's why I put the shots of him. As a matter of fact, isn't that Spliff Star being pushed aside by Biggie? That's Spliff, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know Busta was in that, and the whole Flip Mode squad was in that first Biggie video. So being there at the moment that Biggie popped, I would rightfully assume that a promotional record with Biggie on it would be from that era, especially because there's nothing listed other than Discogs about it online, and even that, you know, I mean, it's not like there's Wikipedias with this information and all that other stuff, but God damn, you know, if you're going to represent hip hop, you represent it right. Tell the right story. So I pulled the video, not just because of the song, but because I want to take myself down a peg. And thank you for, you know, taking the boogie out of my eye, you know, or at least being like, hey, you got a boogie over there. Take it out. Wasn't my fault. I just picked up a $4 record from a store and listened to it. That was all I did. I didn't want to do research on the record or how it came about, but I did. And when doing that research, all I found was something completely different from what it actually was, thanks to some of our friends who are actually in there. It is essentially a three track split star mixtape on vinyl. Yeah, derived and pulled from that other mixtape. Basically, he took the mode thing and did a thing, or took that and added it to the flip mode thing, because those records came at the same time. Not 1993 and 2003. It was 2002, 2003. Fucking crazy shit, man. And hearing DJ Vlad on one of his old mixtapes after all these years, after hearing him in this space, in this zeitgeist, is fucking weird. That shit bugged me out. But you got to remember how Vlad made his come up and shit. And he did that shit. It was taking these old records, mixing them together with the new records that were popping out there. And he funded his whole enterprise from that. So shout out to him.
Sure enough. Hey, I gotta go get some dinner, guys. But hey, nice meeting
cool.
you.
We're wrapping it up.
And,
Good to meet you, Apollo.
hey, everybody out there, have a good one. And great show, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you
As
for
usual.
joining in on the conversation. Yeah, I really appreciate you. Yeah, when Vlad blends a Biggie freestyle over Andy Up, God level mixing skills. Yeah, you know, and it's funny because I remember that tape during that time, because it had all those obscure Biggie verses, not just the mainstream ones, you know, even some of the shit with Tupac in there. You know, but it just goes to show you how things work in this industry and how desperate are people to get on it sometimes. And the fact that, you know, once you dictate that and it's forever, it's forever immortalized. You know, there's no getting away from that. Once you put the music out there, it's out there, even in a digital space. I mean, yes, you could go back on it and all that other stuff, but once you make physical material and put that music out, it's out. There's no coming back from it. So all these years later, just like you said, Air Spider, he trolled and got the desired effect just within the wrong generation, the wrong year. In 2025, you got me, Spliff Star. God damn it. But yeah, we'll be pointing that out, and I appreciate your input. And if it weren't for hip hop, that input would not have been received or even understood, not on a channel like this, not in a video like that. But it was already at 140 views after 16 hours, so it would have flown. You know, once it gets that 100 views in 24 hours, it flies in that secondary algorithm, and it was going to fly in that secondary algorithm. I want to make sure that if it flies in the algorithm, the whole story is told. So thank you again. Anyway, so yeah, that'll conclude it here. You know, as far as this discussion goes, you know, we had everybody drop off individually going through it, and I really appreciate you guys coming through. You especially, T-Sketch, because you were first on my list, even though I kind of approached you late with the whole thing because of what we had going on over here. But I really enjoy your hip hop. I love your production style. I love your motivation. I love your knowledge, the just everything, you know. And I really appreciate you from the bottom of my soul.
I appreciate you too, bro.
I know
100%.
that's pretty deep to say, and I kind of wanted to surprise you with that track and be like, oh yeah, I'll be rapping and shit too. Just be like, yo, but I hope that my bars did justice on your piece of music, because that's all I wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I don't think I could do any better to this track.
Yeah, I don't, I think that the message is like, I think that song was very on time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I love what you did with it, because once I realized the beat you picked, and I was like, wonder what he's gonna do to it. And when I heard it, I said, oh, okay. Now you're not just, I mean, you could rap, you're just not rapping to rap, like you're actually saying some shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best gift, to be able to inspire that. I think that's the reason why I cook, man. Like, I started making beats for me so I could rap over, but like I've been wanting artists to get on my stuff, and I'm like, there's been so many times that I wanted to give up. I'm like, ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? Because literally before you, I only have two other rappers. You know, I posted it on my
Crazy. And
on
you
my
got like
post.
a whole catalog on BeatStars. Like you have a
Right.
whole thing.
I mean, that's only like 100 beats. You know, I mean, I got thousands of beats in my
Yeah.
drive. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm looking to, you know, collaborate more, and I just want to be able to be that canvas for other people. You know what I'm saying? And because hip hop saved me, hip hop healed me, and I'm hoping that my music can do the same with others. You know, inspire others to whatever story they got to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to be able to get better as time goes on, because it's 20 years next year that I'm producing. So,
Ooh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
it's
for
been a long time, but I've learned a lot from FL Studio 3. That's what I started on.
That's what I started on production. That when I
Exactly.
got into digital tools, that was my first DAW. It was Fruity Loops 3. I got out of it right when they started doing lifetime updates. I got my lifetime updates, and then I started college after that when I was 26 years old and started with Logic Pro 8.
Yeah.
You know, I started teaching that shit in the colleges. I was like, fuck FL, I don't need that shit. And they started calling it that year because that was when the Kellogg's lawsuit hit.
Yeah.
You know, that shit was real, you know,
Oh
but
yeah,
we
they was
still
not
call it
playing with
Fruity
that.
Loops because it was really
Exactly.
called
Fruity
Fruity Loops.
Loops. Yep.
We don't
And then they
need,
couldn't
we ain't
do it.
clowning on FL, you know. FL, you know, Felicia's got a different name back then.
Exactly. I call her Felicia. But
FL, yeah.
and you know, it's crazy because I didn't really take it serious when I first started, because I was just like, oh, this is just for me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, of course I started on the
Oh,
crack
it's something
version.
else.
I'm good now. I'm not cracked anymore.
Yeah.
Don't try to get me in trouble, y'all. Mine is paid for.
I got a CD that had Pro Tools, Fruity Loops, 1, 2, and 3. 1 was just the 4 track, so it was nothing, and then 2 always crashed, so 3 was the only one that worked.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it's crazy after all these years. You know, you get going on these production tools that are just kind of standard, and you're like, oh wait. I've been on this for a minute. I'm kind of a wizard on here, you know, and you just like don't even realize. And that's the thing. If there's any parting wisdom I could give to anybody and aspiring to do any kind of hip hop is to realize your dopeness, because we spend a lot of time just in the weeds making the music. We don't, and we're not egocentric as much as ego driven as, you know, hip hop is or whatever. You know, when your heart's in it and you're doing the music in a real way, in a profound way, you know, you don't be thinking about that shit, you know. But after a while, you start realizing like, oh wait, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
I think all that negative shit and you know suppression algorithms and all the you know stuff that happens to you in life situation, financial circumstances, I think that gets you to thinking like, maybe it's because I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't know this. Maybe it's because I haven't learned this. But there comes a point in your time to where you have to realize your dopeness. You have to realize how dope you really are. And I just really, through the experience of becoming more unapologetically myself in my older age, through that transition, I started realizing, yo, I'm fucking dope. Like, and I'm not saying that with ego or anything like that. It's just I'm dope at this. I'm dope at this. I'm dope at this. I'm dope at this. Like I could do these multiple things because I've been gathering up these skills and techniques that I've been putting into practice for decades now. And you start doing that, and you realize, oh shit, we have so much more to offer because we know all these things and we could do it. And it's just about realizing your own dopeness and being able to put that to to play into practice and have it translate you know the right way. And one thing I want to get through, and this is to you specifically, I have a song that I have been working on for a couple years now, and it's a whole thing about this ageism stuff or whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
got this hip hop middle and this end. I've worked on it publicly over here. You know, I produced it on the Phantom and everything like that. The very first verse is not for me. I finally realized that I need. At first, I knew that I needed a female vocal, but I also need a female spoken word. But more so, I need somebody who really believes and has that passion for the message in the music.
Mm-hmm.
irony, there's no ironies in this universe, but the irony in this is that you and your voice say the exact same thing every time you communicate as I am on this record.
Mm.
Everything. And I would like to know, would you like to be that first verse leading into the track? It's the closer on Hip Hop Undead. It's the very last song.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
you
the
sent it to
end.
me.
And I through this in the beginning when we connected and the beat and everything, I was like, this who needs to be on this track. I known this since then. Like,
Mm.
this who needs to be on it. I just haven't asked you yet. So I'm asking you right now. You want to be on
Yeah,
this?
I'm down. Just send it to me.
All right, I'll send it to you and I'll send you the videos of working on it and I'll
Yeah.
get going. I'm gonna do the Creax track with that drill shit first.
Yeah.
But with that, it's been sitting for a couple years now because I've been waiting for this moment to be able to perfect this in the right way. And your voice, with everything that you are as an artist, belongs there. And with us having this connection, it's fucking natural, it just like, oh shit, I already know people like this. What the hell? Like,
Yeah, man.
hey,
Listen,
hey,
I
you wanna get on
appreciate
this
it.
song? Like, I should have known this whole time.
Absolutely. Because I need to, I need to hold myself more accountable because I've been so much in the production state, like just production. It's like beat, 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 beat.
Yeah.
It's like my soul is feeding to spit because I've been rapping since I was 13.
Yeah.
I got books upon books. I don't ever got to rhyme again. I got albums upon albums, but I still, I still do my thing. I have my phone. I'll grab my book. I'll write bars. They pop. I can't get away from it. They just pop into my head.
It never goes away. Yeah.
As many times as I quit rapping, I probably quit rapping like 200 times.
So let's do like
You know what I'm
MC
saying?
Hammer and get it started.
So yeah, it'll be good because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking just to be able to spread my wings as an artist too, because I feel like I don't show that side of myself because I've been so focused on getting dope as a producer, like get doper, and then I've been obsessed with it, like to the point where I'm just like, I'm cooking so much that it's like, okay, T, like calm the hell down. You can put the shit out that you cook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hopefully, getting through it and take your time with it, because even if it takes 10 years, we'll release it then. You're the Quite a Year Already song, even though it kind of ages itself out, realistically, the way I'm thinking about this in my mind, this album's not going to be finished until the next season, like January to March. So that Quite a Year Already, depending on what happens, that's going to be hitting at the beginning of a year. So it's not going to be aged out anymore at that point.
That's
So
true.
like looking at the time, there's no time frame on any of this, but yeah. So we have 4 minutes left in our Zoom meeting before it kicks us out. So I want to make sure, I say goodbye, on beforehand, so we're not just dramatically, oh, see you later, stream ended.
Shout out to the chat, man. I appreciate you, Viral. Thank you for having me on. This was like amazing. I love talking about hip hop. I love connecting with people. It's a beautiful thing. And anytime you need me, I'm down. I'm down. Yeah.
I went to the studio to lay my verses too. Like I went to the local studio and paid $75 an hour for
That's
it.
dope.
Like,
That's
so
dope.
like it's there where it needs to be. I might change some things production wise to a more hip hop thing, because it is there's hip hop in it, but it's kind of like it's a bigger song than that. I don't mean to minimize the impact of hip hop. It's the closer. So there's a lot of diversity in it, but I needed a female MC and there was just no way to get around with it being you. So like, I was like, oh, one of these times is going to be perfect for me to reach out and ask her. So, hey,
Yeah. I'm down, man.
there you go.
It's all good. I'm down and I'm very grateful, man. I appreciate it. Just anybody that gives me a chance to express myself, you know what I'm saying? Because that's something that I do very well when it comes to being poetic and just putting my pen to the pad. That's something that's how it started. That's how everything started. Sketching. That's why they call me T Sketch. I started sketching, started writing poetry, and then I started rapping.
It's crazy.
So-
We're the same exact age too.
Yep.
Fuck y'all's ages, and we're about to make a hit here. Accident. So yeah, I appreciate you guys coming through. Make sure after the fact, if you guys are not subscribed to T Sketch, if you're not subscribed to anybody else who's here, thank you everybody who's been who's joined us here in the chat. You know, Apollo Hanzo, Reconsider at Sketchpad Music, you know, aka Recon, you know, Kriax, you know, also known as Enzo over here in Sweden. And yeah, I really appreciate every one of you for showing up here, and make sure that you are subscribed to every one of these channels and
And
you keep an eye up on the
this
space
video, man. I'm,
and
I'm
share. You
channeling Nino. Share this video, man.
Word. Anything you want to close us out? I'll give you the last word over here. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that thing, what you can to support the channels. And we'll be seeing you. And I'll give T Sketch here the last word before we head out.
I say much love, you know, much love to everybody. Make sure you stay creative, and remember that you're in control of everything. You know what I'm saying? We're co-creators for a reason. So don't let anybody tell you you can't live the life that you want, because you can. You got the power. You need to claim it. Peace.
Word. Take care, y'all.